Part 29. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 282. The moment I saw that wisp of twisted black energy, Yilin thought there was something wrong with her eyes. He rubbed it. But the black energy is still there. Twist left, twist right, even twist to create a sense of rhythm. This is. Yilin remained calm. But there was a quick murmur in my heart. It seems to be a resentful spirit. The posture formed by the condensed black energy was not unfamiliar to Yilin. In the river Styx, there were thousands and thousands of them, endless. At that time, Yilin was still being attacked by countless resentful spirits, and it was hard to look back on the past. But this is the real world. The painting style is so sci-fi, but with the appearance of black energy, it suddenly becomes supernatural. It's unscientific. Yilin squinted her eyes and stared at the wisp of black energy from a distance, her eyes changing. "What's in that box?" Yilin asked Li Chang'e. Li Chang'e didn't pay attention and replied casually, "Oh, they are the costumes and props left by a previous crew member. In order to save costs, the director used them directly." "What kind of prop is it?" "A black robe, a mask, and a realistic prop knife." "What's wrong?" Li Chang'e suddenly felt that something was wrong. Could something happen again? Should I test the boss in advance? Are you ready with supplies to run away? Although the boss is good, it seems that wherever the boss is, it is not peaceful. Li Chang'e had countless thoughts in his mind. He immediately and cautiously asked, "Is there something wrong?" "No." Yilin didn't say much and said casually, "I'm just curious. By the way, has anyone worn that set of costumes and props?" "Yes, why not? I've worn it so many times." "No, the little fresh guy who stopped performing 2 days ago still wore it for a round. It was precisely because after putting it on, he found that there were other people wearing it in the camera. It's my face, but not even a bit of skin can show through, so I couldn't help but stop acting. The script changes are really outrageous." Someone passed through. But just now the director was exchanging insults with the little guy on the other end of the phone. In other words, are people okay? Yilin ignored it for the time being and walked to a corner where no one was paying attention to contact Zhao Yulong. This time he was too lazy to type and sent a voice application directly. Zhao Yulong actually answered it instantly. "Huh? What happened again?" Yilin slowly asked a question, "Why again?" Zhao Yulong laughed, "Nothing, just casually, what do you want from me? You wouldn't contact me in this way if it's okay." Zhao Yulong wouldn't say it. He always felt that Yilin was unlucky and had a lot of trouble. "Well, we are still good friends even if we see through it, but don't tell it." Yilin thought for a while, but did not tell him about the black energy he saw. Instead, he said from the side, "After the Zhonghuishan incident, the bodies of the apostles who died in Huading City, and their personal belongings, how to deal with it in the end?" "Humanity is destroyed," Zhao Yulong replied matter-of-factly, "for the sake of peace, of course this is the only way to deal with it, otherwise what else can we do? What I want to know is how." Zhao Yulong hesitated for a while. This didn't seem to be a secret, and then explained, "It's actually very simple. As for the corpse, it's just disguised as various accidents. After all, the group of people came from all over the country, so it was not too difficult to deal with it. As for the family members, the pension is in place and everything is easy to discuss." After a pause, Zhao Yulong sighed, "After all, time will heal all pain. After entering this industry, there is nothing you can do about it. Who will die and who will live? No one knows whether they will see each other again until the sun rises tomorrow's Sunday. I'm surprised." "What's so surprising? You've been an apostle for so long, don't you even have this awareness?" "It shouldn't be. No, What surprises me is that your cultural level is much higher than I thought. Let's get down to business. Yilin did not continue to interrupt. Among the dead, was any one of the crew members of Huading City Film and Television City? Huh? Just wait a minute, I'll have someone check it out right away. I happen to be at the headquarters. When he talked about business, Zhao Yulong's tone suddenly became serious. 2 minutes later. Zhao Yulong has completed the search. Indeed, there is, but it's just a young man. His name, forget it, his name isn't important. He's gone anyway. By the way, how did you find out? After Yilin got the information she wanted to know, she used the words she had already thought of to blur Zhao Yulong's face. It's nothing, I happen to be in Huading City, in the studio where Li Chang'e shot. There is a set of costumes and props here, and there is a mask in it. It looks familiar, and I saw him last month. Zhao Yulong did not doubt that he was there, and quickly asked, what? Mask? Wait, we recycled and destroyed all the masks on the corpse? How could something slip through the net? Haha, maybe this brother has already thought of using this method to hide his identity. Maybe he prepared several masks of the same type. This is not a very complicated operation. It makes sense, okay. You can find a way to recycle it. After all, it is something left by the apostle. Even if it is not a prop, it is safer to destroy it completely. Clear. Yilin agreed, after all, it was just a small thing. By the way, you just said, corpses disguised as various accidents. How to disguise them? Zhao Yulong's tone suddenly became lewd, and he said with a smile, there is an expert in our group. She has a skill that can shape dead objects into various shapes, especially corpses. All abnormal things, she handled all the corpses with her own hands, and her techniques were very skillful. Female, right? Eh? How did you know? Zhao Yulong was very shocked. Could it be that she is the woman you like? When Zhao Yulong talked about this, Yilin had already figured it out and probably knew who the woman Zhao Yulong was talking about was. Damn it! You can actually read minds. It's just bullshit, I guess. So you like this type? Fart. I don't like Danako, I mean, she is a good woman, you know what a good woman is. Wait, have you met your sister-in-law Zhao? When? No, I mean, this kind of woman who works with corpses every day. Zhao Yulong smiled disdainfully, you don't understand, this is love. Only true love can tolerate flaws. In my eyes, all her flaws are like flawless diamonds. Then you wish yourself well. Die. Oh, remember. Get rid of the mask. Wait, your sister-in-law called me, hang up first, hey, here he is. Toot toot. Zhao Yulong instantly hung up the voice call. Yilin exited the communication panel, thoughtfully. The woman Zhao Yulong likes is actually her. But why did the future Zhao Yulong turn into such a bitter and hateful character? What happened in the timeline I don't understand. Because of Zhang Huishun, Yilin has been paying close attention to Zhao Yulong's experience. Especially when Yilin discovered that his parents disappeared inexplicably and all his memories were completely overturned by reality, he became even more curious about Zhao Yulong's future experience. Mystery exists not only in the other world, but also in this reality, whether it is the past, present, or future. It's all a mystery. If Zhao Yulong's experience is different from Yilin's memory, maybe this is a breakthrough for Yilin to find answers. Just pay some attention. The woman Zhao Yulong likes is a real senior member of the special group. It's not something that fake senior team members like Oral can compare with. In Yilin's memory, that woman's methods were terrifying. In the later stage, she was even able to shape a building into various shapes of naked men with just a few movements of her hands. Of course, what impressed Yilin most about her was not only her abilities, But something she once said. I have no interest in living men. Come to me after you die. That's why Yilin told Zhao Yulong that he would be blessed. Hope everyone is okay. Returned from chatting with Zhao Yulong. Li Chang'e has finished filming the scene with the unknown masked villain. Whether it was the blunt fighting or the stiff movements of the masked man, Yilin, who was watching the fight, found it boring. This is why the real person PK staged in Huading City caused such a huge sensation. It's all due to the uneven quality of commercial films. The new director, who calls himself a montage stream of consciousness shooting technique, seems to be very dissatisfied with the masked man's acting skills. Little did he know that the unknown actor wearing a mask had already scolded the new director in his heart. Acting? I'm not even allowed to show my face. I'm not even allowed to show my hands. I only have a robe and a mask the whole time. Do I use special effects to improve my acting skills? Of course, it is absolutely impossible to say such words in front of the director. Unless you really can't help it. The shooting failed several times. Intermission. Li Chang'e rolled back to Yilin without any interest, complaining endlessly. Yilin squinted her eyes, observing the ever-distorting black energy on the mask. That mask doesn't seem to be a prop of the tower. Rather, it was a personal relic of the apostle. But why did Yilin see a wisp of black energy that seemed like a resentful spirit on it? Could it be related to grudge? Or maybe I was soaked in the water of the Styx River in Styx Junior High School. No matter what the reason is, if you think about it carefully, it is nothing more than these two possibilities. The mask was just there. Yilin thought for a while. It was not impossible to deal with this mask in front of everyone, but it seemed to be a little difficult. Forget it, just take it away quietly afterwards. With his ability, no one can find it. Just when Yilin hesitated, the director, who was worried about the masked man's lack of acting skills, looked for Li Chang'e in the crowd. He looked around and found Li Chang'e chatting with a young man. The director was instantly angry. What's going on? Are you still chatting? Playing a big role? Isn't it time to figure out how to film this rivalry scene with the ultimate villain? It is said in the industry that Li Chang'e is very dedicated, but now it seems that this is nothing more than that. He actually deserted on the set. The director clenched his fists and was hesitating whether to risk offending the big shot by scolding Li Chang'e when he suddenly noticed Yilin next to Li Chang'e. His eyelids twitched suddenly and his heartbeat accelerated a bit. Ah! Look! Look at the calm, half-smiling mouth. Look at this calm person, but there is a sinister look in his eyes. Look at the gloomy city between his eyebrows as he lowers his head in thought. Look at these seemingly ordinary facial features, which bring invisible courage to people. This strong contrast makes people think deeply and fearfully. This guy was born to play the role of a villain. The director's legs trembled. He imagined a young man wearing a mask and a black robe. This is completely consistent with the mysterious Yang Wuxing temperament in his impression. He believed that with his terrifying temperament that resembled the villain's leader, he could perfectly portray the Shadow Star masked man, even if no trace of his body was missing. Must be able to. Thinking of this, the director couldn't help but put aside Li Chang'e and walk straight towards Yilin. Yilin. There's something wrong with the director's eyes. Thank you all for your support. By the way, because Yilin has reached 3 stars and needs a lot of star points, friends who can't help but give rewards can click on the character page from the mobile app and click to send gifts, which is the same as normal rewards. Thank you. Every bit is love. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 283. This strange look made Yilin's heart flutter. It would be better if the opponent is full of murderous intent, Yilin can kill back without any psychological burden. But this look. Something is wrong. The director looked around Yilin several times, left, right, up and down. The more I look at it, the more satisfied I become. This mysterious villain, the faceless ultimate villain, seems to be tailor-made for the young man in front of him. True performance. There is no sense of disobedience. Perfect. The director sincerely lamented that he has been in the industry for many years, has rich experience, and has read countless people, but he has never seen such a layered villain temperament. This sentence perfect made Lee Changa extremely puzzled. What kind of trend does this director have? Changa, who is this? The director finally remembered that he should be reserved and ask about the basic situation first. Don't be anxious, don't be anxious. Lee Changa answered truthfully, Yilin, a great friend who came from afar. Lee Changa was so quick to speak that he almost lost his composure and blurted out the word big boss. But luckily he reacted quickly. Still, he calmed down in time and smiled faintly. Big friend. The director thought about it for a while and ignored it. Snapped. The next second, he suddenly grabbed Yilin's hands. This brother, we really met each other, so why did we know each other before? Ah, we met too late. Ah no, it should be said that we met early rather than by chance. The director's expression was both ferocious and excited, and his words were incoherent. Yilin silently exerted force and pulled out her hand. Look at me, I'm so happy, excited, excited. Hey, laugh, laugh. The director rubbed his palms together to calm down, but his expression was still a bit wild. I wonder if this little brother is interested in acting? With my professional vision and many years of experience in the industry Not interested. Yilin instantly thought through the director's next polite words and decisively refused. The director was stunned when he heard this. Ah, this? No need to think at all. Little brother, do you have any misunderstandings about the entertainment industry? This is obviously a serious movie. It's not serious, he hasn't taken pictures for many years. You don't think about it anymore? To be honest, I have never seen an actor with such a villainous temperament. This faceless role is tailor-made for you, so that you can play your true self. Lee Changa heard it. I was instantly happy. The corners of his mouth were twisted into a chrysanthemum shape, and he could barely hold back his laughter and growl like a pig. Tailor-made. True performance. Wow, click, click. Yilin suddenly turned her head, looked at Lee Changa with an expressionless face, and asked, why are you laughing? Lee Changa's expression froze and he subconsciously covered his mouth. I mustn't laugh. No. Why are you telling me that you're not smiling when the corners of your mouth are so tight? Yilin suppressed the urge to use the big slap technique to slap Lee Changa in the face. After all, he had already perfected this move under Queen Yan Luo and was very skilled at it. The director is also a genius. He seemed to understand Yilin's concerns. It doesn't matter, he is used to convincing people with reason. Do you think it's a bit aggrieved not to show your face? No, 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 this is an epoch-making interpretation. As the most powerful villain in the entire movie, I don't think any face can interpret his style. This brand new character design, mysterious, suspenseful, and full of climaxes, will definitely leave a mark in the field of film. Believe me, even if you don't show your face, with your natural villain temperament, you can definitely interpret the essence of this character 100%. You are him, and he is you. You may not know that as long as you can perform this role perfectly, even if you don't show your face, once the movie is released and it triggers a strong response and sensation, your name on the screen will be your most powerful business card to enter the entertainment industry. The kind with diamonds. Believe me, I'm sure. Lee Changa finally couldn't hold it in any longer. He tightly covered the blooming anus on his mouth. I'm going to the toilet. On the road, Lee Changa's mean laughter could be heard faintly. Could it be because of my charm, it makes me look like a villain? Yilin felt a little sore in her balls for no reason. There's something wrong with this. Li Changa hid in the empty men's room and laughed for 3 full minutes. It took a lot of effort to calm down, lest the big boss see it and it would leave some discomfort. Li Changa straightened up his expression and walked out of the toilet calmly with the most handsome and cool attitude. When Li Changa came out and looked in the direction of the crew, he couldn't help but be stunned. What are you talking about? Are you so happy? Directed by Li Changa. Instead, he held the tablet with great interest and spoke to Yilin about the key points of the character Shadow Star. Yilin frowned and thought for a moment, actually, I don't have many lines. Plus, with my face covered, I can express myself freely, right? The director thought for a while, but Yilin's temperament was very suitable for this role, and he couldn't be wrong about this. But it was a fact that Yilin didn't have any acting experience, so he could only say, okay, you try it first, and when you encounter difficulties, you can solve them slowly. I believe you, I have enough patience. Finally, the director added, this will be a great movie. Ah, here, you guys wait a minute dash. Li Changa finally heard it. His eyes widened, and his pretense disappeared instantly. You agreed. Yilin showed a row of neat white teeth and said with a smile, it's okay, it's not a very troublesome thing. Helping others has always been synonymous with me, isn't it? Damn it. Boss, what you said is too much. Is helping others synonymous with you? After all, I, Li Changa, am the hairiest person on your legs. I have stayed with you through life and death, and have never left you so many times. Why didn't I know that you still have this attribute? The director explained, Yilin is really generous. There is nothing to say. He even promised not to get paid. He just wanted to take away a small thing after the filming of the scene and take it back as a souvenir. After some explanation, Li Changa realized that Yilin had the idea of getting the props from the crew. He quickly pulled Yilin aside. Boss, tell the truth, is that prop another, that thing? Li Changa pursed his lips. No one knows that in the end of the Huading City incident, Li Changa was the biggest winner. Not only did he get an epic piece of equipment batsuit from Yilin, but he also got a cursed spirit enchanted weapon, which came with a mother spirit head that was responsible for pressing the bedboard. It can be said that I reached the pinnacle of life in an instant. As soon as Li Changa heard the director's words, he guessed Yilin's plan and asked quickly. After all, Li Changa also knows the taste of the mother spirit, and the more he presses on it, the happier he is. He hopes that there are more things like this to make a fortune in silence, the better. Yilin looked away. Where are you thinking? Do you think that thing is a prop? Isn't it? Li Changa came closer, with an expression of don't fool me, as if he didn't give up. Haven't you ever touched it? The mask has been touched before. That's it, isn't it? If there is no attribute, it means there is no abnormality. You don't understand this. Li Changa thought about it carefully, and it made sense. Could it be that the boss is really selfless and helpful this time? Although he still didn't believe it, he couldn't explain it with other reasons. The director pulled Yilin back again and warned her carefully. This is the climax of the whole movie. The general plot is that you appear in front of everyone very arrogantly and fight the protagonist invincible for 300 rounds under the gaze of everyone and everyone's expectations. This martial arts fight the play, forget it, how about you give it a free play? The main thing is the temperament, express that feeling as much as possible with subtle movements and eye contact. The director intertwined and rubbed his thumb and index finger vigorously, as if he wanted to use the subtle movement change to let Yilin understand the artistic conception he wanted to express. That kind of invincible loneliness, the helplessness of reality, the coldness with a trace of sadness, the sadness with a trace of loneliness, the loneliness with a trace of cold arrogance, the cold arrogance dash. Yilin's ears were ringing and she quickly interrupted the director's tirade. Shall I try first? Okay, the director found that he seemed to be a little bit verbose. After all, the other party was a newcomer, so it was normal to give him some room to develop. He was very patient anyway. At this time, the director pushed the tablet in front of Yilin again. Well, in this scene, do you have any ideas about the background of your appearance? This is a holographic projector, which can directly project the back figure. You see, there are many themes here, including love at the end of the world, every night singing song, peach blossoms, rough waves, when peach ripens, you can choose for yourself. Yilin took the tablet. Modern live special effects, just swipe a few times. The UI of the interface is very simple, and Yilin got the essence of it after operating it for a while. Soon, Yilin chose a simple dark night theme, then slightly changed it according to her preferences, and she was done. Everyone is in position. Get ready to start shooting. Under the director's command, no matter how dissatisfied everyone is with this talkative director, driven by their abilities, they can only get busy and start working. While the others were preparing, Yilin finally successfully came into contact with the mask that was glowing with black air. Since another actor has worn this mask before, nothing happened. It means that it is not a ownerless spirit similar to a spirit-possessed weapon, which has such great lethality. Yilin looked at the writhing black energy for a moment. I found that the face condensed with black energy seemed to be just a background image. There was no focus in the empty eye sockets, but a cold resentment was faintly exuding. Correct. It's resentment. Yilin knocked on the dead skin on his forehead, and he seemed to feel the black energy. Is this, the resentment left behind by the deceased before his death? Even if it's just a little bit, it's still attached to the mask. Perhaps this mask was left behind by the previous owner when he committed a murder. Yilin probably understood what was going on. He slowly held the mask in his hands. In an instant, from the resentment that was close to her forehead, a cold breath spread quietly, making Yilin tremble slightly involuntarily. In the blink of an eye, the resentful soul on the mask became even more distorted. It opened its mouth to let out a silent wail, then swished away from the mask and rushed towards Yilin. Yilin didn't make any move and allowed the resentful spirit to pounce. Call out. Moment. Gone. The resentful spirit is gone. Yilin checked the attributes of resentment again and found that the progress bar of resentment had changed from 67% to 67.2%. It dawned on him. It turns out that this is accurate to one digit after the decimal point. A mutilated resentful soul attached to the mask only increased the progress bar by 0.2%. Simply outrageous. Yilin didn't expect that she would accidentally find the correct way to open grudge. What I didn't expect was that this method of opening would be so difficult. So it turns out you absorb resentment to grow. After Yilin finished dealing with the resentful soul on the mask, silently, I added one more item to my next travel plan. Upgrade grudge. Everyone is ready. Hold your breath and concentrate. After Yilin absorbed the resentful soul on the mask, she planned to fool the scene and sneak away quietly. Unintentionally discovering the upgrade method of grudge can be considered a big gain. Yilin puts on costumes and props. No wonder the actor who played Shadow No Star had such strong opinions. The whole black robe covers from head to toes. Not to mention his face, even his hands were wearing pitch black leather gloves and his feet were wearing pitch black boots, with no trace of skin exposed. The only thing Yilin showed was the two holes in the mask. It seems that according to the director, the eyes are far more important than the face. And if you couldn't see the mask, you couldn't act, so the two holes in the mask were finally retained. But the actor was not happy. If you can't see the face, wouldn't it be a waste of time? The little fresh guy who stopped performing was so angry that it was not without reason. I was excited to take on the role of the biggest villain of the show, but I didn't expect to actually play the role. I found out that it was so deceiving, so I quit angrily. But Yulin didn't care about this. Inside the leather boots, a small descending device is installed. It can react with the magnetic levitation elements of the floor to produce a short-term levitation effect. Although it can't be as exaggerated as taking off on the spot, it can serve as the hanging wire commonly used in the last century. This can be regarded as a major breakthrough in the film industry. The cost of this thing is said to be quite high. And it can only be used on special floors. Or, put a magnetic levitation board on the ground. This technology is also used in modern high-altitude operations. Let's not mention the gossip for now. Director, special effects, photography, music, extras, everything is ready. Action. As the director roared, the lights in the entire studio suddenly went out. The director was very nervous. My legs were shaking slightly. He almost forgot to breathe and stared straight at the place in the darkness where Shadow Starless was about to appear. In the dark, a bright crescent moon hangs high in the sky. The plot follows the previous scene. The brave and invincible gambling fairy played by Li Changa is silently confronting a group of villains. The extras look sad, as if they were about to cry at any moment. The brave and invincible man stands proudly with his hands behind his back, invincible in the world. Very cool, very good. Don't ask why the gambling fairy didn't gamble, but started fighting instead. Because Li Changa didn't know. Maybe even the director himself doesn't know. What's even more outrageous may be that no one in the entire crew knows why the gambling fairy is so invincible. It's just a script anyway. Everyone just followed this inexplicable new script and performed it with all their might, no matter what the result was. Li Changa's expression was calm, but he was still confused. Why on earth would this big guy behave in such a way that is completely inconsistent with his usual personality? Is it because of the love for my younger brother? Alas. Hate. If you really want help, just tell me. It has to be so mysterious. Suddenly. Right now. The bright crescent moon turned red instantly. Like blood. As the scene changed, the atmosphere suddenly became tense. According to Yulin's request, there was no proper BGM backstage. He originally just thought that with the BGM, he would look exactly like Li Changa's funny special effects. Yulin didn't want it. But at this moment, the strange scene changes and the dead silence of the atmosphere add a bit of unspeakable depression to this heavy atmosphere. Wonderful. Secretly, the director felt the completely silent atmosphere, and all the actors in the scene looked to the sky, their expressions frozen. At this time, no BGM can arouse the audience's endless imagination more than BGM. No BGM can exaggerate the oppressive feeling caused by the silent waiting. A shadow as black as ink floated towards the blood moon behind it. Silent and silent. Blood moon. Like a hook. Long street. When everything was silent and everyone was frozen, the only thing moving in the sky was that dark shadow. In the extreme silence, someone suddenly moved, which invisibly increased the presence of the black shadow to the maximum. Whether inside or outside the court, everyone's eyes were focused on the dark figure in the sky. There is no wind around. The black robe on the shadow's body fluttered behind him as if blown by the wind. It was like a huge crow in the night, spreading its black wings full of wounds. At this time, next to the director, a staff member looked puzzled and asked in a low voice, "It's strange. There is obviously no hairdryer arranged. How can this Yang Wuxing's robe float like this? SHH. Don't make any noise." The director was already obsessed with it. This powerful character, this figure, this mysterious and domineering atmosphere created silently, he really didn't misjudge the person. That guy is indeed born to play the role of a villain. Finally, someone recovered from the shock and started reading the lines. The mood is quite full. It's him. It's him. It's that one. That one. That terrifying being whose name is equivalent to a taboo. Come. Let's all chant his name together. 3, 2, 1. Shadow Starless. Yilin finally made it to the final level. He was a little confused. This line, "Who is the villain?" Li Chang'e was equally full of emotions. He opened his eyes and faced the villain played by Yilin, unafraid. Of course, this is just the emotion he pretends on the surface, and there is a slight difference from the emotion when he actually activates the 50-cent special effect. As a professional actor, Li Chang'e knows how good his acting skills are and how powerful his acting skills are. Unless, I can't hold my emotions anymore. Who are you? The brave and invincible man raised his head and asked loudly, his voice full of energy and energy sinking into his dantian. Yang Wuxing didn't answer. In the darkness, the shadows were motionless without stars, just like this dark night, vast and silent. But in those eyes, there were 3 parts of indifference, 3 parts of aloofness, 3 parts of sadness, and 1 part of deeply hidden disdain. Wonderful. The director bit his lower lip tightly, twisted his 10 fingers together, his face flushed with excitement, and he wanted to pounce on him. Eyes. All you need is the eyes. This is drama. The eyes are full of drama. Major. No. This is the true nature of the performance. As everyone knows, Yilin is just thinking about how to beat Li Chang'e gracefully and gently in front of everyone. Shenyang Wudi suddenly felt something was wrong. Because he had never seen such a terrifying look. His legs were even shaking slightly, but he just held them firmly, trying not to let the trembling show up in the camera. Who are you? Yang Wuxing didn't answer, just one step, walking towards Shenyang invincible without any hurry. Do you know that I am a brave and invincible person who dominates the world? Li Chang'e was a little scared and subconsciously took a step back. Off the court. The director was already roaring crazily in his heart. That's it. This state of silence is better than sound. Here, there was originally a question and answer dialogue between Yang Wuxing and Shenyang invincible. But good guy, I just said good guy directly. He actually used this silent treatment method. As the saying goes, the biggest weakness is that you can't see the strength. I didn't even answer, how can you judge my merit? I don't even say anything, how can you know my depth? How wonderful! In the blink of an eye, in everyone's tense atmosphere, Yang Wuxing, played by Yilin, has walked up to Shenyang Wudi, played by Li Chang'e. Then, 3 steps away, a palm shot came out. Li Chang'e was stunned. Snapped. Li Chang'e's head was violently thrown to the side. Snapped. The other side. Bang 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 bang. Li Chang'e's face was turned into a rattle. Li Chang'e was angry. He is ready to fight back. He is so brave and invincible. Right now. Li Chang'e suddenly felt his anus vibrating wildly. The vibrations were so strong that one wave after another made Li Chang'e tremble without wanting to fight. He had no choice but to open the communication panel as quickly as possible and almost cried. All the news about Yilin. One after another. And it's all incoherent nonsense. Boss, how can you distract your opponent with your dirty talk when the 2 armies are facing each other? Ning, this is a foul. Young man, you don't respect martial ethics. How could this be? When Li Chang'e finally resisted Zhu Zhen and closed the panel, a dark fist came towards him. The 2 men were fighting fiercely on the field. To be precise, the brave and invincible who was supposed to be invincible in the world was actually suffering from convulsions and being beaten at the same time, which was very miserable. This sudden change of painting style made everyone in the audience stunned. Director, this isn't right. When Yang Wuxing hit him just now, he clearly didn't touch Shenyang invincible. Is his head slapping action too exaggerated? You know nothing. This is a big production. Is it difficult to add some special effects such as internal strength and superpowers? Didn't you find that Lee Changa is very professional? His expressions are very spot on. I give it full marks. But, this is a bit unscientific. Humph, this is the effect you want. What's wrong with adding some science fiction elements? Is this still science fiction? It's just fantasy, right? Ah wait, the brave and invincible has been stepped on the ground. It's okay, the effect is very good. The director was very satisfied. But at the end of the script, it seems that the brave and invincible defeated Ying Luoxing. It doesn't matter, this one is better and can better reflect the power of the mysterious villain. Director, but this kind of ending of evil prevails over good will not pass the review, right? It's okay. I'll shoot a scene later that shows the bravery, invincibility, and indomitable laughter with tears. It shows that in the end, this movie is still very positive. It reflects the protagonist's repeated defeats, battles, and defeats, and the more he fights, the better he gets. Powerful. Ah, isn't this the end? What the hell do you know? Which major production nowadays is not going to be a trilogy? Isn't it weird to leave suspense in the first part? Isn't it okay to make a second part, the fight against shadows again? Etc. The director suddenly reacted, turned his head, and said with a sullen face, "Are you the director or am I the director? Do you still want to mess around? Are you teaching me how to do things?" Yes, yes, yes. The voice that kept asking questions suddenly choked up, "But I am a screenwriter." Finally, when the director saw that Lee Changa was almost beaten to death by the villain, he finally shouted "Ka!" with all his strength. The lights come back on. The brave and invincible Lee Changa twitched on the spot and was dying. Everyone silently praised Lee Changa for his dedication. Yulin took off his mask and said with a smile, "Director, is it okay?" This smile indeed comes from the heart. After all, Yulin is very happy now. Lee Changa got up from the ground with a sad face. But he quickly put away his crying face and patted the dust on his body, looking calm and calm. No matter how painful it is, it will never damage your character. Cry again when you go home. Although he looked very miserable, Yulin did not beat Lee Changa to death, and his health points should not have been lost much. Just when Lee Changa thought it was over, Zhu Zhen comes again. He took a quick look. Yulin only sent the last sentence, "Chat back." Lee Changa. The director carefully turned over and watched the scene several times. He was so satisfied that he couldn't help himself. His face turned red, as if he saw the Best Director award waving to him. Perfect. How can there be such a perfect villain? It's natural, it's natural. One shot to the end. Awesome. Of course, Lee Changa's acting skills are also very good. I didn't expect that he could vividly show the humiliation, unwillingness, pain, anger, regret and other emotions of the brave and invincible when he was beaten. Lee Changa cupped his hands and smiled lightly, "Thank you, thank you. By the way, where's Xiaoi? Let's go have a celebration banquet later." At this time, everyone looked around for Yulin. However, he discovered that Yulin had left this place at some point. It's like it never appeared. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 284. Yulin put away her mask in her usual way and left the film and television city. The style of the mask is not worth mentioning. It is a small item used for cosplay in the store. Yulin planned to finish torturing the little fat man's lifelong affairs, and then find a place to humanely destroy him. This was regarded as completing the side mission issued by Zhao Yulong. The kind without mission rewards. Zhao Yulong, if you don't pay wages, it will be very difficult for me. Yilin was very helpless. Wandered around the street a few times. Yilin was bored, so she simply sat down and observed her surroundings. Now that Grudge has inadvertently unlocked the new function of seeing through Grudge souls and is no longer an ordinary piece of dead skin, Yilin is interested in further developing Grudge. Pity. I don't know if it's because the murderer doesn't wander around the streets at will, but Yilin sat on a bench in the bustling streets of Huading City for a whole hour. Her eyes were sore, and she didn't notice anyone else possessing the revengeful spirit. It seems that the method of forming resentful souls is a bit harsh. Or maybe it's a time limit. If the time is too long, the resentful soul will become a Buddha immediately. Well, it's possible. When Yilin was thinking about how to use resentment, he finally received a contact from Li Chang'e. The superstar is off work. 10 minutes later. Yilin and Li Chang'e reunited. Boss, you don't follow martial ethics. Just fight. Why bother to send messages desperately? Do you want me to reply, or should I reply, or should I reply? Li Chang'e looked at Yilin with resentment, his expression was on the edge of tears, and he wanted to refuse but still welcomed her. Oh, I suddenly remembered that I seem to have a pretty good piece of equipment that I can lend to you temporarily. What's the name of that piece of equipment? It seems to be. Boss. One day you are a boss, and you will be my boss, Li Chang'e, all your life. When Li Chang'e heard these words, he understood in his heart, and his face changed at the speed of light, showing a dog-licking expression. Boss, you don't know, but from that day on, I, Li Chang'e, have already sworn to be the pendant on the boss's leg, the one who will never leave me for the rest of my life. Okay, stop flattering me. I do have a small matter to ask you about, so I'll go back to your house first. When Li Chang'e heard this, his expression suddenly froze, and then he lowered his head, seeming a little embarrassed. What? Inconvenient. No. Convenient. Convenient. Very convenient. Li Chang'e quickly called for a flying car and followed the track to the villa. Just halfway. With tears in his heart, Li Chang'e silently refused a fan gathering that might have allowed him to fight until dawn. Half an hour later. Yilin once again came to Li Chang'e's luxurious villa. At the entrance of the villa, the two cool sculptures of Li Chang'e are still very eye-catching. As if she couldn't wait to tell the whole world. Li Chang'e, the mansion, here. By the way, where's the one in your family? Yilin approached the villa. It was dark and empty, so she asked casually. Agent, Sister Lu is the agent. Li Chang'e corrected Yilin's words seriously, and then explained, Sister Lu is working overtime because the new movie will be finished soon, and there is a lot of work on the promotion of the new movie. Sister Lu needs to follow up. Yilin nodded and didn't ask any more questions. He didn't care about Li Chang'e's private life. After the two had a simple meal, Yilin revealed the real purpose of their trip to find Li Chang'e. Although you claim to be my little brother, seriously speaking, we are friends. Yilin sat opposite Li Chang'e, sipping the fine black tea and saying with a smile. Boss. Yilin's words moved Li Chang'e to tears. So, for the rest of the conversation, we will follow the rules among the apostles. Hearing this, Li Chang'e's expression froze. Your enchanted weapon is a curse. For some special reasons, I want someone to curse me. Isn't that convenient? Damn it! When Li Chang'e heard this, he was stunned instantly. Does the boss still have such a hobby? I do not know how. But soon. Li Chang'e lowered his head and said weakly, must. I said, our conversation, according to the rules among the apostles, is all about interests. I know that cursed enchanted weapons cost a lot every time they are used. Some of them cost lifespan, and some of them reduce attributes. It's outrageous. You may even face a life or death crisis, so I say, it's up to you. After saying that, Yilin took another sip of hot black tea, waiting for Li Chang'e to make a decision. That's right. Yulin's purpose was to try whether Li Chang'e's spirit-possessed weapon ability could become the food for the evolution of resentment. If only this were possible. Li Chang'e's expression was complicated. He is indeed difficult to handle. It wasn't that he couldn't bear to part with the mother spirit that he couldn't forget and became more and more pleasing to his eyes. But, as Yulin said, although the effects of cursed enchanted weapons are awesome, they are completely unreasonable. But the usage conditions are very harsh. Li Chang'e hesitated. Although he does consider himself Yuren's #1 younger brother. But in a trial, the only one you can rely on is yourself. Li Chang'e is neither stupid nor stupid. He is also weighing whether this is worth it. After a while, Li Chang'e gritted his teeth and finally made up his mind. If you really have this special taste, boss, then it's not impossible to try it once. Yulin. Taste. What the hell? Finished. Li Chang'e took out the puppet from the storage space. At the same time, the mother spirit with long hair covering her face and pale skin appeared silently behind Li Chang'e. The mother spirit's gloomy eyes revealed two gleams of cold light from between the long black hair. Yulin smiled slightly. With a wave of his hand, he called out Nai Hungziu and Bai Xiaoai. The three mother spirits looked at each other. The next second, they happily hid aside and started whispering among girls. The atmosphere was very harmonious. By the way, what's the name of your mother spirit? Mako. Oh, that's a pretty good name. It must. There was a pause. Seeing that Li Chang'e seemed to agree, Yulin smiled and said, I told you before that as long as you reach the 3rd level, there is a way to repair epic equipment. I remember. Li Chang'e nodded. Then what? After level 3, the forging function will be unlocked, and equipment whose durability value has returned to 0 can be completely repaired. Wonderful, Li Chang'e slapped his thigh. Don't be happy, I haven't finished speaking yet. Yulin chuckled and said, I tried to repair several pieces of equipment with no attributes not long ago, and spent more than 2,000 death points. And if I want to repair epic equipment, if so, I guess. Yulin didn't finish speaking. But Li Chang'e was confused and understood. This is too obvious. Isn't it just forcing people to make money? It's outrageous, it's too much. Why does it still have such a cheating function? When Li Chang'e thought of the huge death point, his blood surged in his chest and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. In this intense emotional place, Li Chang'e felt sad, and there was a sound of rushing water behind him, which was like the feeling of a river flowing eastward, and money gone forever. Li Chang'e's mentality collapsed. Finally, I have hope. Before the hope could be lifted, Yulin was slapped to death by the sudden bad news. Epic level equipment is good and wonderful. No one knows who uses it. Li Chang'e can no longer live without that supersuit. What should we do? Li Chang'e cried with a sad face and wailed. Yulin smiled and popped up a transaction window to Li Chang'e. Apostle 1010, a transaction application has been sent to you. Do you want to accept it? The other person is in your friend list. Note, please be careful when making transactions and beware of scams. Yes/no. Ta gave a very warm reminder to prevent fraud. It was Li Chang'e's first time to use this function. With some curiosity, he pressed confirm. Yulin instantly dialed 1000 points. Don't look at the fact that Yulin's current death points are often in the tens of thousands, but these 1000 points seem to be very few. But after a quick glance, you will know that it is very difficult to obtain DP, death points, through normal channels, especially when their level is still low. Yulin cleared the Styx Junior High School dungeon, and with the SS level evaluation bonus, she only got 2800 DP in the end. It is conceivable that these 1000 DP points are definitely not a loss for Li Chang'e. Li Chang'e seemed to understand how huge the huge sum of money was in front of him. He chose to trade without hesitation and accepted it. You, boss, I love you, just like a mouse loves rice. Go away. Anyway, count me buying you once. As the saying goes, money makes things easier. Among the apostles, DP is hard currency. Li Chang'e's speech became more eloquent. Turn out to be. The reason why Li Chang'e hesitated was because every time he used the curse ability, his charm value and luck value would drop by 50% as a price. Moreover, while the curse's side effects are in effect, it will definitely be accompanied by a bloody disaster. As for whether he dies or not in the blood disaster, it all depends on God's will. Moreover, the duration of the side effect is calculated based on world switching. Simply put, if Li Chang'e uses the curse in the real world, the side effects will take effect in the next trial. On the contrary, if the curse ability is used in the other world, the side effects will be brought back to the real world. Under the influence of the bloody disaster, Li Chang'e may suffer various accidents and die tragically at any time. Very scary. It can be said to be the ability to injure the enemy 1,000 times and damage yourself 2,000 times. That's why Li Chang'e was so hesitant. Might die after all. Don't be careless. But Li Chang'e still agreed. Even without the 1000 DP that Yilin later added, he still agreed. Wait a minute, boss, you're already at level 3? That's too fast. Don't you get an every time you evaluate it? Li Chang'e called back Zhenzi, who was chatting happily with Nai Hongxiu and Bai Xiaoi, and when he was about to activate his ability, he suddenly remembered this incident. Even though he is so handsome, he always gets a B or a C in every trial. He even secretly laughed at himself more than once. Even the clearance evaluation seemed to have seen through his preferences and catered to his favorite size. Maybe this was destined, ahem. The speed at which Yilin's level increases is terrifying. Horrible, so terrifying. It was obvious that not long ago, in Gawu Mountain, they were still at the same level. Average, Yilin said modestly. The corners of Li Chang'e's mouth twitched slightly, and he no longer looked handsome. The chrysanthemum special effect behind the scene suddenly exploded. The blossoms are blooming, the blossoms are split, and they are flying in the wind and rain. Well, he decided to treat Yilin's modesty as low-key pretense. Boss, be careful. Once this ability is used, not even I can take it back. Don't worry, I'm sure. When Li Chang'e saw Yilin's mature expression, he no longer hesitated and decisively activated his curse ability. Li Chang'e pointed his finger at Yilin. Without any ceremony or preparation, a cold and biting breath quietly hit Li Chang'e's fingertips. Yilin shuddered subconsciously. A sense of weakness spread throughout the body silently, and the limbs suddenly drooped, and it was very laborious to lift them up. Huh? This ability is a bit overbearing. Yilin raised his eyebrows slightly. But he didn't have time to experience the feeling of being cursed again. From his forehead, a refreshing chill instantly washed away the discomfort of the curse, circulated in his body, and returned to peace. Yilin could even imagine the sound effect of grudge being placed on her forehead and letting out a slight burp. Grudge. After devouring Li Chang'e's curse, the progress bar instantly increased from 67.2% to 72.3%. The quality of this ration is good. Yilin was very satisfied. Naturally, the curse issued by Li Chang'e cannot be compared with the curse of Calypso. After Yilin returned from the Caribbean, his body quickly decayed under the terrifying power of the curse. Without the Dionysian factor, he would have fallen into a box long ago, without any suspense. Therefore, the increase in the progress bar cannot be compared with that of the Calypso lunchbox. But Yilin was already satisfied. After all, the progress bar has also increased a bit. It's done. Yilin clapped her hands and stood up happily. But Li Changa's eyes widened, as if he were dumbfounded. No, no, it's gone now. In shock, Li Changa also stuttered when speaking. Never mind. Yilin's expression was calm. The meaning is clear. Your curse is gone. Li Changa suddenly felt messy in the wind. I have spent a huge price and risked a bloody disaster, but how can you, boss, solve the curse so easily and happily? I, Li Changa, don't want to lose face. Doesn't my mother spirit want to show off? Although he had been mentally prepared and knew that Yilin might have a way to solve the curse, otherwise he would not have been so trembling and asked to wash his face with the curse. But the speed was so fast that people didn't have any precautions, and they were gone in an instant. Yilin thought for a moment, looked calm, and said to Li Changa, "Stretch out your hand." Li Changa was still confused and his brain was in a state of panic. As soon as Yilin finished speaking, he subconsciously reached out his hand before he had time to think. With a flash of blood, Yilin made a quick and easy cut on Li Changsong's body. Although Yilin is not an apostle on the agility side, after this round of strengthening, his agility attribute is much higher than that of Li Changa. Yilin's sword flashed, and Li Changa didn't react until a trace of blood appeared on his palm. He was chopped. "Boss, what are you? The whipping of love?" Yilin smiled, "What a bloody disaster." Upon hearing this, Li Changa quickly figured out Yilin's purpose. But he felt it was extremely ridiculous and his eyes widened. How the hell can this be considered a bloody disaster? Who knows, Yilin didn't explain too much, maybe he can find some loopholes. After all, that guy is not without loopholes. Li Changa was doubtful. But Yilin had mastered the strength, and the wounds were only a few. It was neither painful nor itchy, and Li Changa didn't feel too distressed. He found a band-aid and carefully applied it to the wound to avoid leaving any blemishes on his self-proclaimed perfect skin. He endorsed several skincare products. What if it affected the sales of the sponsor's father's products? Manage. Ruo Yilin knew what Li Changa was thinking at the moment. Maybe you will regret that the cut was shallow. Yilin finally found the correct way to open resentment and was in a good mood. At the same time, there is also a bit of regret. If in the Caribbean, in a world full of curses, he could enter the trial in his true form, let alone a calypso, another dozen might not be enough for grudge to eat. Next, Yilin spent another 2 days eating and drinking in Li Changa's villa. During this period, Li Changa was busy with work. The so-called blockbuster of the year has entered its final stages. The director was said to be very satisfied with the last scene of the day. They even went so far as to say that although Yang Wuxing only had one scene, it was the finishing touch and overshadowed Li Changa, who was the protagonist. These remarks made Li Changa look at Yilin with all kinds of jealousy in his eyes for the past 2 days. Yilin browsed the forum silently. Guessing that the little fat man's mood had almost calmed down, he took advantage of Li Changa's free time to put forward his idea. "Well, I'd like to find a place that's more tolerable. Do you have any suggestions? Tolerant of tossing? Boss, how do you want to toss?" "It's nothing. I have 2 friends. They want to find a place where they can practice boxing and relax without being discovered." "Hey, what a big deal this is," Li Changa waved his hand, "you can do it right here." In Li Changa's view, Yilin's friends were his friends, and this trivial matter was nothing. Here. Yilin looked around and briefly imagined the scene of Li Erpang and Suzayasu standing together. "That's enough." Unexpectedly, Li Changa smiled mysteriously and took Yilin to the basement of the villa. The empty basement is filled with various facilities. There are freezers, game consoles, computers, fitness equipment, bathrooms, beds, etc. Li Changa had a stern look on his face, and before Yilin asked, he explained as if he was offering a treasure, "Boss, don't underestimate me." I am a Lichanga who is used to thinking twice before acting. Ever since the day I became an apostle, since then, I have been mentally prepared to be hunted to the ends of the earth. This is my secret stronghold. If I hide, it will take me 10 days and a half. It's no problem at all. Moreover, look over there, there is an emergency exit, leading directly to the edge of the pool in my back garden. If someone with no eyesight comes to kill me, I can definitely attack, sway from behind, swing from side to side, and twist lightly. Slowly challenge, justice from heaven, and various tactics are deployed, maybe we can fight back. Are you sure? Yilin walked to the wall and knocked on the walls around the basement a few times. This is not a place for you to date. Lichanga's expression suddenly froze. But he immediately put on an expression like an upright young man and pointed at his face. Do you think I am such a person? Be confident and remove the word like. Although Yilin was very suspicious of Lichanga's purpose of secretly building this basement. But I have to say, it's very good. Yilin originally thought that she would spend a lot of money to decorate the place where the plan would be implemented. Did not expect. Money is also saved. This wave is not a loss. Etc. Yilin's heart moved. The plan seems to still have room for adjustment. Thinking of this, Yilin suddenly looked at Lichanga with empty eyes. Lichanga felt a little frightened when Yilin stared at her. He seemed to recall the fear of being tricked again and again in the past. He recalled his hesitation when he was tied into a tortoise under the goddess tower. He recalled that on the set, he was so anxious that he almost suffered from cerebral palsy after being shot from left and right by Yilin. Lichanga took 2 steps back. Yilin smiled slightly. I have a friend who wants to ask you for a small favor. The next day, Lichanga finally met the legendary friend. The super prime who was just 1 centimeter away from breaking through the 2-meter mark came to meet him with his fists raised. Su, Sister Su is good. As soon as Lichanga saw Suzayasu's muscles, he immediately turned into obedient Lichanga. He clasped his limbs and greeted Suzayasu with a stiff smile. The two met during the Huading City incident. Although unfamiliar. But he also knew that Suzayasu was a ruthless person. It is still difficult for him to associate the words woman and Suzayasu together. This question is too difficult. The 3 of them sat down. Lichanga obediently brewed a pot of fine black tea. Seeing Suzayasu holding the teacup, he couldn't help but remind him, Sister Su, this cup is easy to break. Moreover, it is a limited edition and the price is a little bit. The words are not finished yet. Click. The cup cracked. Ah, sorry. How much? I'll pay it to you. Suzayasu looked apologetic. She really didn't expect that the cup would break so easily. After all, the tableware used in her home are all made of alloy and are resistant to tossing. Lichanga forced out a smile that was uglier than crying, and laughed dryly, ha, it doesn't matter. In fact, it's not so expensive that it makes people feel distressed. Oh. Suzayasu nodded. You really do believe it? I'm just being polite. Can't you be so upright? Lichanga was a little depressed. But he really didn't dare to ask the sister to compensate for the loss of the cup. Yilin knew that Suzayasu was thin-skinned and was embarrassed, so she took the initiative to reveal part of the little fatty capture plan that required Lichanga's cooperation. After listening, Lichanga was stunned. Ah, this. It's not very good, is it? Yilin had already expected that she would suffer the first wave of rejection if she dragged Lichanga into the water. He quietly pointed at Suzayasu, what do you think is wrong? Lichanga closed his mouth instantly, his expression tangled. But Suzayasu is very wise. She silently took out a card from the storage space and presented it with both hands. Please help. I hate it, why are you giving me a gift? We all know each other so well, right? Li Chang'e hesitated a little, but quickly took the card from Suzayasu's hand. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it, Li Chang'e immediately tightened up when he looked at it. This, Sister Su, it's your help. Yi Bo Yuntian, Li Chang'e helped. Li Chang'e quickly put away the card, beat his chest loudly, and added, if there is a next time, I will help too. Yilin, we must take it? Li Chang'e, I will definitely get add one. Suzayasu smiled sweetly. Huading City. Li family. Li Erpang sneaked out of the house. No one found it? For safety reasons, he even disguised himself well and even had a beard on his mouth. Even if Suzayasu came, she would never be able to recognize him. Don't underestimate the angry fat man. Li Erpang clenched his fists. Ever since that day when Suzayasu came to propose, Li Erpang knew that his home was no longer safe. I don't know if it's because the ancestors of the Li family in the Tang dynasty killed each other in order to stabilize their position as emperor, so the Li family suffered some kind of curse. In the past 100 years, the Li family has fewer and fewer heirs, making it difficult for them to spread their wings. When it came to Li Erpang's generation, he turned out to be a single generation and became the only seedling of the Emperor Li's family. Therefore, the only criterion for Li Erpang's parents to choose their daughter-in-law is that they must look good and have children. According to the ancient tradition of choosing a daughter-in-law, Mayor Li was very satisfied with Suzayasu, who had huge hips, beautiful bones, and was very tolerant of torment. The more he looked at it, the more he felt that the task of reviving the Li family's glory should fall on Li Erpang and Suzayasu's generation. And although the Su family is not inherited from an ancient imperial family, it is not bad either. They are well matched, a talented man and a beautiful woman. How can a monster like Li Erpang come to oppose her? Upstairs. Li's parents stared at Fatty Li sneaking back through the window and smiled at each other. After sneaking away for a while, the little fat man suddenly trembled. Damn, you scared me. I thought it was Sister Su who broke through the do not disturb setting and came to the door. What does this kid want to do with me? What is this? A figure? A badge? You're too naive. Fatty is a professional fat geek. Is there something he can't identify? He finished speaking. Li Erpang took out his cell phone. Turn on. Receive pictures sent by Li Chang'e. What is this? Hey, boy, wait a minute. Don't throw it away yet. I'll go to your house to identify it. Li Erpang quickly dialed Li Chang'e's number, yelled at the other end of the phone, and rushed towards Li Chang'e's villa like a chrysanthemum on fire. In the crowd. Outside the Li family mansion. Yilin looked at Li Erpang's leaving figure. Smile slightly. Attention all units, the target has been hooked. The handsome Li Chang'e received it. Suzayasu received it. Sister Su, you can prepare. Yes, Sister Su's voice was a bit shy, and she didn't know if it was an illusion. After Yilin confirmed that Li Erpang had taken the bait, he activated following like a shadow and followed Li Erpang to avoid any accidents. If this little fat man really wanted to run, it would be difficult to stop him. Asking for all kinds of support. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 285. Li Chang'e's Villa. Every time he came, Li Erpang couldn't help but want to complain about the two golden statues at the door. This taste is simply hard to describe. But forget it. People and their tastes cannot be generalized. Just like Brother Su and Lolita, some people like it and others like it. Who the hell would like Brother Su's style? Li Erpang flipped up the table in his mind for no apparent reason, and carefully, avoiding everyone's eyes, slipped into Li Chang'e's villa. After all, they are in the same city. In the Zhonghuishun incident, he could barely be regarded as a comrade who had struggled in the same ditch. They are also peers. We occasionally interact with each other in private, but we are not familiar with them. After all, Li Chang'e is very busy on a daily basis, taking on commercials, filming movies, doing publicity, and meeting fans. After entering the villa, Li Erpang didn't waste any time. He took off his hat, mask, sunglasses, and fake beard, and spread his chubby palms forward. Where are the things? Where are the things? Li Chang'e had a puzzled look on his face. Say, fat brother, what are you doing by dressing yourself up like this? Are there any enemies chasing you? Hearing this, Li Erpang trembled all over and shook his head quickly. You don't understand, you are more terrifying than your enemies. Oh. Li Chang'e responded and stopped talking. In the Zhonghuishan incident, Li Erpang finally burned all his fat and lost all his precious fat. But after this month of tireless eating and drinking, classmate Li Erpang's belly has once again begun to show signs of size, which is gratifying. Wait a minute. Li Erpang suddenly cast a suspicious look at Li Chang'e. Let me confirm one thing first, brother Su. Ah, it's sister Su. She hasn't been looking for you, has she? Li Chang'e's expression was dumbfounded, and his acting skills were outstanding. You mean Suziya Su? That Suziya Su who is 1.99 meters tall? She is looking for me? Why is she looking for me for nothing? It's not like you don't know that the only people who can meet me, Li Chang'e, are two kinds. Men, and female fans. Understand? Li Chang'e's honesty completely reassured Li Erpang. He chuckled, suppressed his excitement, and rubbed his palms. Where are the things? I really don't understand you otakus, what's so good about this thing? You know what the heck, do you believe I can buy your villa with the limited edition figurines on one wall? Li Chang'e shook his head, but still took out a card from the storage space and crushed it. When Li Erpang saw Li Chang'e's action, his eyes widened and his breathing became rapid. Wait a minute, are you a prop? Did you bring it out from inside? How is that possible? Li Chang'e smiled mysteriously. After crushing the card, a colorful, uneven, and exquisite badge appeared on Li Chang's ear. On the badge, there is a lifelike little loli, with a shy and charming face. Li Erpang trembled with his hands, feeling the touch floating on the badge, and suddenly realized, no wonder I have never seen this character before, it turns out to be a prop brought out of it. The workmanship is okay. So realistic, lifelike, top-notch, top-notch. It's really the best. Suck it. Right now. Li Erpang's hand touched Alice's part on the badge. The badge suddenly lit up, and a shadow emerged from the badge. In the blink of an eye, in front of Li Chang'e and the little fat man, a translucent figure with the size of 1:1 appeared out of thin air. Hello everyone, I'm Alice, I'm glad to be your friend. Li Erpang and Li Chang'e were stunned. In the void, the little Lolita Alice made 3 circles to the left and 3 times to the right, twisting around. Li Chang'e also didn't expect that this Alice Q version commemorative badge would have such an effect. Real name envy. But after watching for a while, Li Chang'e came back to his senses. This is not a spirit-possessed weapon. It's just a shadow. Alice only has a few movements to come and go, and her lines are also very rigid, far less realistic than his true son, mother, and spirit. Thinking of this, Li Chang'e suddenly felt less envious. Li Erpang opened his squinted eyes hard, as if he wanted to see the details of Alice's shadow clearly. This thing is perfect. I'll pay for it. Ah no, this is a prop, I'll pay for the DP, how much do you want? Just give me a number, don't be too outrageous. Ah this? Can I still exchange death points? This was somewhat beyond Li Chang'e's expectation. But this thing has only ornamental value and is of no use. Thinking of this, Li Chang'e silently stretched out 3 fingers. He hesitated for a while before he thought of the reasonable price. 300 DP shouldn't be too outrageous. Make a deal. Li Erpang slapped his thigh. He didn't even bother to negotiate the price and decisively sent out a transaction application. Li Erpang, make money. Transaction completed. Li Chang'e counted the money silently. Ah no, count the death points. Suddenly, Li Chang'e was shocked. A golden special effect lit up behind him. It looks like golden rain all over the sky, extremely gorgeous. Li Erpang's eyes were instantly stung by the golden light behind Li Chang'e, and he couldn't help but cursed angrily, What are you doing with special effects when you have nothing to do? I can't even see my baby Alice. Li Chang'e heard it. Meng Lang. He quickly collected his emotions and held back the 5-cent special effects as if he were holding back shit. Although this skill is passive, Li Chang'e has become more and more proficient. To a certain extent, if his mood does not collapse, he can barely control it freely. Li Erpang played with the badge over and over again, very satisfied. This wave is not a loss. Li Chang'e looked confused. After being stunned, I felt ecstatic inside. 3,000 points. Li Erpang actually traded him 3,000 DP. It turns out that the inscrutable pointing of the finger has this endlessly mind-boggling function. In the future, when you are in doubt, just raise your finger and try. Wonderful. Li Chang'e felt happy. The background is so low-key that the special effect of chrysanthemum flowers emerges. The light is restrained, but the flowers bloom brilliantly. But Li Chang'e finally remembered the plan. He did not indulge in this illusory joy and was unable to extricate himself. But this thing looks just average. Li Chang'e showed an expression as if he had never seen the world before. Li Erpang laughed. Naturally, he was not as knowledgeable as Li Chang'e. He just said, "You know nothing." Ahem. Li Chang'e coughed twice and pretended to be profound. It's a pity that I still have a big baby. Huh? There's more. Upon hearing this, Li Erpang took his attention away from the wriggling Alice for a moment. Yeah, big baby. Real or fake? Li Erpang always felt a little weird. Haha, you underestimate me. Li Chang'e lifted up his bangs and smiled faintly. My current background is beyond your imagination. In this world, I have been born and died, and I have calculated all my secrets, and I have obtained something. An unimaginable treasure too. What the hell? So sneaky. Although Li Erpang still didn't believe it, after all, in his impression, Li Chang'e was too good at showing off. But the Alice Q version commemorative badge in his hand made Li Erpang, a senior fat geek, feel a little itch in his heart that he couldn't scratch. If you don't believe it, you can go and see it. See, Li Erpang was stunned. The baby is too big and awesome. I was afraid of being jealous, so I hid it in the basement. Isn't this bad? Li Erpang pretended to shirk it. After all, Li Chang'e said he was an awesome treasure and it was a rule among apostles. Li Erpang still meant to shirk it? It doesn't matter, who made us good friends. Although that baby is good, to be honest, it doesn't suit my style. Li Erpang didn't believe it. But in the end he followed Li Chang'e to the basement out of curiosity. As the old saying goes, curiosity kills the cat. But maybe it can also trick the little fat man to death. Oh. You can do it here. Oh. This bed is 2.5 meters tall. You have everything you need in your basement. Li Erpang looked at the layout in the basement and exclaimed from time to time. My sleeping posture is bad, ahem, my sleeping posture is bad. Li Chang'e explained quickly. Wait a minute, where is the big baby you are talking about? Naturally, Li Erpang would not linger on that boring big bed for too long. After all, it has nothing to do with him. Here. Li Chang'e pursed his lips towards the corner. In the corner, I saw a dark, opaque cloth covering something. Fully 2 meters high. 2 meters. Li Erpang instantly thought of Sister Sue's height of 1.99 meters, which was like a shadow, covering the sky and the earth. He suddenly felt his anus shrank and his hands trembled violently. This has almost become a conditioned reflex. But thinking about it carefully, it seems wrong. The big baby under the black cloth has sharp edges and corners, and does not look like a person. Could it be? Li Erpang stepped forward quickly. He didn't notice that Li Chang'e was behind him. He breathed a sigh of relief, laughed, and tiptoed back. Li Erpang opened the canvas with great expectations. In an instant, a jet-black mecha that was more than 2 meters tall appeared in front of Li Erpang. Just as he imagined, the mecha had sharp edges and corners, and the spikes all over its body exuded an evil aura that no one would recognize. There are actually 2 huge tires on the mecha's shoulders. The whole body of the mecha was made of an unknown material, and shone with a cold light under the light. Li Erpang was stunned instantly. This figure is perfectly made. Look at the material, the joint structure, the details, tisk tisk tisk. Li Erpang gently touched the mecha's paint, feeling the coldness on his fingers. He was so moved that he almost drooled. Such a domineering and huge figure, if placed in the room. I'm so excited just thinking about it. Perfect. If it is exposed, it will cause an unprecedented earthquake in the otaku circle. Etc. Which company produced this? What about logo? What about trademarks? Where? Li Erpang walked around the giant model several times, leaving the cute Alice behind. He didn't pay attention. The lights in the basement dimmed a bit. He didn't notice that at some point, a pleasant fragrance filled the basement. Faintly. Smoke fills the air. Ah, the fragrance is so fragrant. Is this model so spicy? Base. Just when Li Erpang was touching him all the way to his head, a sultry voice came from the model's head. Oh shit, I just can't stand it anymore. Stop touching your hands. As a gentleman, I will never allow you to do such indecent behavior on me. Mr. Beast, please let go of the gentleman in your hands. Li Erpang was stunned. Ah, this? Can you still talk? Click click click. The model suddenly started to move. It saw Li Erpang staying where he was. Then he smiled and said, sorry, I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Night Dyer, and I am an elegant gentleman. Excuse me, do you have any wine? Oh, I have a story. Such an angry robot is unheard of. Are all current ace deliberately made to have this taste? Why does he always feel like the model in front of him always smells like alcohol when it moves? Wrong. Li Erpang's feet felt weak. Only then did he realize that besides the smell of alcohol, there was another strange smell in the air. Ah, my heartbeat is speeding up. What happened? Did his heart beat faster because of this perfect model? Plop, 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 plop. Is this love? Click. The bathroom door opened. Suzayasu smiled shyly. Upstairs. Li Chang'e felt a little uneasy. No one will die. Yulin estimated that indescribable rosemary had taken effect, so he stretched out his hand and put away the Night Dyer who kept talking nonsense through the void. Thinking of Night Dyer's translator's accent, Yulin was speechless. That fire source fragment really created a troublesome thing. Sitting on this kind of mount always makes Yulin feel a little weird. Don't think too much about it for now. Yulin pushed Nightmare back directly. Probably not, Yulin said. But actually, he wasn't quite sure. Thinking about it more carefully, there is not much difference in strength between Li Erpang and Suzayasu. They should be in a relatively stalemate situation and will not cause any loss of life. Boom. Suddenly. The ground suddenly shook. Li Chang'e was startled. Boom. Below, there was a loud noise. Li Chang'e was shocked again. Bang 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 bang. There was constant movement. The whole villa shook slightly, moving again, and it was very exciting. Li Changa cried sadly, "Are you sure?" Yilin remained silent. After another 10 seconds. In the basement, a tragic roar with a hint of shyness reached the ears of the two of them through many obstacles. "Brother Su, I'm going to fight you today. Burn. Fat. Pot, 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 pot. Dong 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 dong." The ground looked like it had been blasted by a pile driver. Li Changa. Yilin. Solved. Yilin finally completed the side mission. Earned epic mission rewards. If it weren't for the fact that the mission reward was too tempting and had to be paid in advance, Yilin really didn't want to get involved in other people's marriage matters. But now it seems perfect. The little fat guy got out of singles at the speed of light. "Boss, do you call this a solution?" Even Li Changa couldn't help but complain. He began to worry. Don't get me wrong, he's not worried about the little fat man. But his villa. If he kept shaking like this again and again, he doubted whether the villa would collapse due to the two of them. Of course, Li Changa was simply overly worried. Although the sound of the two fighting in the basement was very scary. The little fat man couldn't even beat him, and he fired burn, fat. This is the final trump card. But the apostle who has not yet unlocked the lock, this little movement will not cause a villa that cost a lot of money to build, collapse on the spot, unless they both use full firepower. Yilin originally planned to bring Fatty and Suzayasu together, then quietly leave Huading and do good deeds without leaving any name. But think about it carefully. He was still a little worried. After finishing, classmate Li Erpang was at a loss. If he got too excited and lost control of his emotions, and accidentally beat Li Changa to death, that would be a bit pitiful. Yilin looked at Li Changa silently and decided to stay and deal with the aftermath. By the way, Yiren dialed a number. Solved. A gentle and elegant voice came from behind the phone, "Sorry. No need. Congratulations. Rejoice together and rejoice together." Li Changa was very curious, "Who are you calling, boss?" He. Yilin just smiled and did not explain. Half an hour later. Dong 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 dong. Da 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 da. Bang 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 bang. The movement continues. There was no pause for half an hour, and Li Changa got used to this rhythm, so he took out a card out of boredom and turned it over and over happily in his hand. "What kind of reward did Suzayasu give you?" Yilin asked casually. He. Li Changa had a coquettish look on his face and let out a he smile. That expression made Yilin have the urge to punch Li Changa to death. Secret, secret, big secret. Li Changa originally wanted to show off his brand new equipment in front of Yilin, but after thinking about it, he resisted the urge. But in the end, he couldn't hold it back and gave it a try. "Boss, to be honest, I, Li Changa, am invincible." Yilin. "This kid is so swollen." "Never mind." Since Li Changa didn't want to talk, Yilin didn't hesitate to continue asking. The two of them stayed up bored for another half hour. The movement below finally stopped. Yilin and Li Changa looked at each other. Li Changa, "Is it done?" Yilin, "Maybe." Suddenly. A voice, with 3 parts of sadness, 3 parts of frustration, 3 parts of anger, and 1 part of deeply hidden relief, once again penetrated the obstacles and echoed in the villa. "Hum." It was the voice of classmate Li Erpang. Yilin was sure now and nodded, "Well, it's done." 10 minutes later. The haggard fat man staggered out of the basement. His eyes were dull. Eye sockets are sunken. After a fierce battle, Li became so fat and thin that he was almost in human shape. Of course, it is actually a sequelae of skills, the fat is gone. He took a few steps and banged against the wall. Li Erpang knocked a gap in the corner of the wall instantly. The corners of Li Changa's mouth twitched slightly. But Li Erpang seemed to have lost his soul. He didn't even know that he hit the wall. He changed the direction and walked towards the hall in a daze. Be careful, damn, my decoration is expensive. Li Changa saw Li Erpang bumping around and finally couldn't help but remind him. The confused little fat man finally came to his senses. He followed the source of the sound and looked at Li Changa blankly. The eyes are getting brighter and brighter. Then. Damn it! Li Changa, you idiot, you actually cheated me. Li Erpang suddenly got angry. After struggling for a whole hour, he squeezed out the last strength from nowhere and pounced on Li Changa. He pushed him down on the sofa and punched and kicked him until he died. Yulin had quietly activated following like a shadow when Li Erpang came out. Although the skill effect is not particularly good in broad daylight. But the slut Li Changa acted like a light bulb not far away. The listless Li Erpang didn't even notice Yulin, who was so close at hand, and pounced directly on Li Changa. I'm going to let you cheat on me. I'm going to let you plot. I'm gone, ah. You have given me a bright and heroic life. Why don't you give me a Lolita dream that's light and soft and easy to push down? You ruined my dream. I want you to die without a burial place. Woo. Bang, dong, chi, pia, ah, oh, woo woo. Various sounds converge into a symphony-like chapter. Very pleasant to the ear. Yulin took a sip of tea. Still warm. He knew what was going on. Even though Li Changa was screaming after being beaten, his voice sounded full of energy, and his health points should not have dropped too quickly. If Li Erpang really had murderous intentions, Li Changa would probably be gone in one encounter without any precautions, and he would not be able to cry out at all. Although the little fat man was angry, for some unknown reason, his rationality was not completely lost, and the bottom line was still there. So Yulin was very calm. 10 minutes later. Yulin had already finished drinking her tea. Seeing that Li Changa was busy being beaten, Yulin was too embarrassed to let Li Changa take a break from his busy work to make another pot, and simply waited quietly. Finally, Li Erpang finished venting again. He got up from Li Changa and was startled when he saw Yulin drinking tea calmly aside. When did you come? Just. Oh. Li Erpang responded, somewhat unfinished, and was hesitating whether to take a break before beating Li Changa again. But Li Changa got up with a bruised face and a sad face. Boss, how could you just watch me get beaten? Yulin seriously corrected Li Changa's grammatical errors. I didn't watch you being beaten, I didn't watch at all. Li Changa. Li Erpang heard this. Smash it with your mouth and taste it? His squinted eyes, which were already so small that he couldn't see clearly, had crow's feet forming in the corners of his eyes in deep thought. Is it you? Yulin smiled, what are you referring to? Li Erpang suddenly became furious. The anger he had just vented surged up again, and he was ready to punch Yulin hard. Yulin remind you, don't force me to take action. Li Erpang. After a while, the three of them sat down again and talked. Li Changa rubbed his face sadly, quickly placed an order on his mobile phone, and shipped the most expensive facial masks and skincare products as quickly as possible. This face is his capital in the world, and he must not be careless. Li Erpang looked at Yulin. Complicated feelings. I have a bad saying, but I don't know whether to say it or not. But thinking of Yulin's strength, Li Erpang decided to hold back what was in his heart and treat it as a fart. Li Erpang always felt that this kid was unfathomable and sinister. No, it was very miserable for him to deceive his dream. But the wood has become a boat, the rice has become cooking pot, and it has been cooked into barbecued pork rice. After weighing the pros and cons, Li Erpang decided to suppress his thoughts of punching Yulin for the time being. After all, He also beat Li Chang'e, right? Who is not beaten by beating? This tone is enough. Thinking of this and comforting himself, the little fat man felt much better. What benefits did Brother Su give you? I'll give you double, no, why not triple it? Is there anything we can't discuss carefully? Ah. Do you have to resort to hurtful means? Li Erpang was heartbroken, and every time he thought of what he had experienced in that hour, he could not breathe with hatred. Yilin thought for a while and said, let me tell you, you really can't give double the benefits she gives, let alone triple them. Grass. Li Erpang still didn't understand why Suzayasu spent a lot of money to capture him. A person as insidious as Lian Yilin actually decided to use such a damaging move without hesitation to offend others. It can be imagined that the price Suzayasu paid was absolutely beyond imagination. That's sloppy. If he had known this, he should have given Yilin a benefit in advance so that he would not help Suzayasu. It was negligent. He should have expected that with Brother Su's interpersonal relationships, he could count the number of people he could find to help him with one hand. I regret it. As Li Erpang thought about it, he shed tears silently. Seeing the little fat man squatting on the sofa and feeling sad, Yilin comforted him and said, actually, he's not that pessimistic. When Li Erpang heard this, he became even more angry. My dreams are all gone, and you still want me not to be pessimistic? In the heart of every fat house, there is a dream of owning a Lolita. The dream is gone. Can you not be pessimistic? As the old saying goes, without dreams, what is the difference from salted fish? Isn't Sister Su strong? Strong is strong, but... Sister Su, doesn't her voice sound good? It sounds nice, but... Does Sister Su have a bad character? It's good to have a good personality, but... Aren't you feeling well? Comfortable is comfortable, but, what the hell, Li Erpang asked and answered, almost unable to react, and yelled, this is not a question of whether it is comfortable or not, okay. Wait, I'm not struggling at all. Is this a good question? Isn't it over if you feel comfortable? Isn't this obviously a sign of disrespect for one's integrity? Yilin didn't bother to point it out, chuckled, stood up, and walked towards the door. For us, a plain and simple love story is an unattainable luxury. One that can live with us for a long time. Companions are rare. Cherish them. Finally, Yilin thought for a moment and added, you will thank me in the future. As he said this, he thought of himself. But Li Erpang's face instantly turned green. But it's not easy to attack. I thank you. Wrong. When Li Erpang saw that Yilin was about to leave, he suddenly woke up. I can't stand it anymore. I can run away. While Brother Su hasn't regained his composure, would I be stupid if I didn't run? Hum, you look down upon me, Li Er, for being fat. When Li Erpang thought of this, he stepped over the slow-moving Yilin and rushed out of the door. Li Chang'e was lying on the sofa, rubbing his bruised face, looking at the back of the little fat man running away in embarrassment, and said coldly, scumbag. Scumbag. Yo, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. The muscles pulled at the injured area, and Li Chang'e twitched his face again and started wailing. Let's talk about the little fat guy. He felt that escaping this time seemed to be more exciting than escaping in the trial. Li Erpang tiptoed. He was afraid that the movement under his feet would be too loud, penetrate the ground, spread to the basement, and disturb the terrifying creature that was 1.99 meters tall. 5 meters. 4 meters. 3 meters. 2 meters. Li Erpang realized it. Even if you run, you have to go to the end of the world. As long as she ran fast enough, no matter how tall or strong Brother Su was, she couldn't catch up. What a wit! Li Erpang silently praised his intelligence. Arrive. Li Erpang was excited and suddenly opened the door of the villa. Suddenly, from all directions of Li Erpang, countless respectful voices gathered together, and it felt like coming from all directions. Congratulations to the fat young master and the young lady on their marriage. I wish the young master and the young madam eternal life. A match made in heaven. Have a baby soon. A house full of children and grandchildren. I don't know when. Countless dark cars surrounded Li Changa's villa. Hundreds of subordinates of the Li family, wearing black suits, sunglasses, and standard bodyguard attire, had already surrounded Li Changa's villa 3 times inside and outside in order to prevent Li Erpang from escaping. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The sound of propellers whirring could be heard overhead. Li Erpang looked up. I found that above my head, a group of armed helicopters were hovering at low altitude, even forming a neat formation in the air, patrolling in a fancy way, giving a panoramic view of the surrounding environment of the villa without any blind spots. When Li Erpang saw this scene, what didn't he understand? His vision went dark, and the little fat man fainted completely. Side mission, capture the little fat man. Mission completed. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 286. Classmate Li Erpang was carried sideways into the car by several people. A group of professional bodyguards used skilled techniques to press down on Li Erpang's classmate to wake him up. Li Erpang cried very loudly at that time. Yilin had already contacted the Lis and his wife in advance. If not, Li Erpang would never have been able to escape from the Li family mansion so easily. The impression that Li Erpang's father gave Yilin was that he was gentle, polite, and very sophisticated. He was by no means a small role. Li Erpang's mother was even more outrageous. She was wearing a dignified cheongsam, but from the way she walked, Yilin could tell that she was definitely a master of ancient martial arts. There was no ambiguity. When conspiring with the Li family and his wife, Yilin was once again moved by their attitude towards him. Before the collapse of order, before the concept of family was still popular, the background of this family could actually be guessed from the surface. The more established a family is, the less likely they will do outrageous things such as oppressing the people. Like the Xiao family in Qingcheng, they thought they could run rampant with such a mysterious organization as the Evangelical Society. Even the educated Xiao Yang had a domineering personality, which is evident from the appearance of this nouveau riche. The Li family where Li Erpang lives is a real imperial family, with the bloodline left by the emperor. Mayor Li is very friendly and kind to Yiren. In short, the little fat man returned home crying with Suzayasu. Before leaving, although all the bodyguards had a stern look on their faces, but from the slightly twitching corners of their mouths, Yilin could deduce that they must be in a very happy mood. Super plus enjoy. After settling the matter, Mayor Li ceremoniously invited Yilin to the Li family's residence, saying that he wanted to thank Yilin for her hard work in bringing the Su and Li families together, and it seemed that he also gave her a big gift. But when Yilin thought about it carefully, he realized that he had already received the mission reward from Suzayasu, and besides, he only paid for 2 insignificant props. Indescribable rosemary. Alice Q version commemorative badge. He didn't have the nerve to receive another reward, so he politely declined. Mayor Li expressed his regret. In addition, for Yilin, money and other things are enough as long as they are enough. Because soon after, the money system collapsed completely, and no amount of money was of any use. On the contrary, the forbidden fruit of wisdom given by Suzayasu is really a top-quality treasure that no amount of money can buy. After bidding farewell to Li Changa, Yilin returned to the capital alone. It has been half a month since I returned from taking a bath in Styx Junior High School. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the next trial to come. The trial that happens about once a month is as frequent as a big ant. It seems like it only comes once in a long time, but in fact, this daily period is very precious. Yilin felt that she had to start preparing for the next trial before she had time to relax. but he has long been accustomed to this rhythm, and there is nothing to say. No one commemorated the 10th anniversary of the tower's arrival. After all, this is not a day worth remembering. The pain left by that starfall on the Earth still has traces even in many remote places. 2 more days passed. Molly ran over tiredly with 2 dark circles under her eyes. She directly threw an encrypted micro USB drive in front of Yilin. Here is the information you want. Your list is more than you think. Some have the same name, some have more than a dozen names, and some have only a few. You can compare it yourself to see who the person you are looking for is. Molly finished speaking quickly and yawned lazily, looking very sleepy. Did you stay up late again? It doesn't matter. There's still a little bit of the mask you gave me. Just apply it after you wake up. It'll be fine. Molly subconsciously rubbed her slightly puffy lower eyelids. Facial mask? Yilin was startled at first. Then he came to his senses. The facial mask that Molly was talking about was the specialty ghost oil that he brought out from the Ghost Fog Mountain trial a few months ago. Unexpectedly, Molly hasn't used it up yet. Quite durable. Yilin nodded and said nothing more. Molly suddenly remembered something and had a strange expression. Speaking of which, in your industry, the confidentiality mechanism is very thorough. What? It's that mask. I once took out a little bit and wanted to test the ingredients and molecular structure. Unexpectedly, there was nothing in the analysis instrument. It seemed to have evaporated out of thin air. If I hadn't known in advance that this was a kind of the power that science cannot currently explain, I thought it was a ghost. You actually took it for analysis. When Yilin heard this, she couldn't laugh or cry. TCH, you won't get pregnant if you try. Molly quickly made herself a cup of hot coffee with a slight salt flavor and ended the topic. By the way, when are you leaving? Tomorrow. Yilin thought about it for a while and then decided without hesitation for more than 10 seconds. Now that the list is in hand, he can formulate a travel strategy tonight and prepare for the next trial. So urgent. Molly stared and stopped talking. Yilin smiled slightly. It's okay, there are some things that I can't explain to you clearly. In short, this matter will take some time. I leave Ling Yi's treatment to you, but don't force it. Dead soul Dan. Molly suddenly lowered her head and squeezed out this sentence from between her teeth. Ah, Yilin looked confused. Why are you scolding me for nothing? Convulsions. Auntie is here? Is this time advanced? You think I can't find the osmium iridium alloy beads that I work so hard for if I throw them into the trash can outside? You're sneaky, he. I don't care if you use it or not, the money you owe my aunt must be also. You want to default on your debt? No way. Ah, this? Found. If I had known, I would have thrown it farther away. Yilin nodded helplessly. Before I leave, hey, forget it, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Look up. This ant has left a long time ago, without giving any face at all. After dinner, Yilin fed Wang Tiandi full of dog food and asked Molly to arrange a legal identity for Wang Tiandi. When Molly heard that Yilin wanted to apply for an ID for a dog, her eyes almost popped out of her head. Her exact words at the time were, "Give a dog a human ID? Isn't this outrageous? Do you really think the whole world is blind? Can't you tell the difference between a human and a dog?" Wang Tiandi stood aside and smiled coldly. Although she complained, for some reason, Molly still helped Yilin handle this matter. On this trip, Yilin decided to take Emperor Wang Tian with him. Apart from anything else, this is a real dog with a very clever nose, and he might be able to come in handy at some point. As for Lao Pan, Shen Shen was nagging him to let him fend for himself in the laboratory. Anyway, with Pan Zhenji's terrifying luck, as long as he doesn't encounter 2 outrageous natural or man-made disasters, or 2 terrible trials, he will probably live a more prosperous life than Yilin. While Yilin was envious of Lao Pan's high luck value, she also felt at ease leaving Lao Pan where he was who couldn't take care of himself. A night of silence. The next day, Yilin slept until she woke up naturally. When I walked out of the hall, I found that Molly hadn't gotten up yet. He came to Ling Yi's residence silently and found that Ling Yi was wearing headphones and didn't know what he was listening to. Coming. As soon as Yilin approached, Ling Yi noticed Yilin's heartbeat and took off her earphones with a smile. This hearing is incredible. Yilin thought about it secretly. He has obviously turned on following like a shadow. But in front of Ling Yi's ridiculously sharp hearing, it had no effect at all. It is impossible for normal people to have this level of hearing. But Yilin remained calm. After disabling the skill, he helped Ling Yi go out to bask in the sun. Are you still used to it? Well, it's not bad. Although everyone here is very busy and it's not as lively as the orphanage, they are all very nice to me. That's good. The two chatted casually. Like old friends for many years. Also like brother and sister. Yilin looked at Ling Yi's familiar yet unfamiliar face. Thinking of the numbers that represent the two people's life experiences. 01,10. What does this mean? If Yilin had no parents, where would he come from? Every time he thought of this incident, he didn't know how to face Ling Yi. He has the future of two people, and Ling Yi has the past of two people. This weird relationship across time and space gives Yilin a headache. Suddenly, Ling Yi turned her head and stared at Yilin. I heard you are going on a trip. Yeah, Yilin said in a calm tone with a smile, Molly told you. You really talk about everything. But it's nothing, just walking around, part of it is personal and part of it is work-related. Yilin explained ambiguously. Ling Yi also didn't doubt him, be careful when you go out. You have been quite irritable since you were a child, and the old dean has said this to you not once or twice. When did I become so irritable? Yilin was speechless, but she still agreed. After a simple breakfast, Molly walked out of the room wearing cute cartoon pajamas with messy hair. Morning. Molly glanced at Yilin listlessly, then pushed open the bathroom door with her bare feet. Open the door and take a look. Wang Tiandi was sitting leisurely on the toilet, holding a tablet in his hand and watching short videos. Molly. Emperor Wang Tian, Wang. You meow, take your stupid dog away right away. After a period of turbulent daily life. After washing, Molly finally returned to a decent shape. What I said yesterday. Yilin took Molly to his usual place of retreat. A motorcycle with a ferocious appearance was parked there quietly. Acridine? When did you buy it? This car doesn't look cheap. Yilin smiled. Next, please cover your mouth first and don't scream out. TCH, is it possible that your motorcycle can go to the sky? Wait, can your car be on the road? It looks like it has been illegally modified, right? Molly waved her hand indifferently, and she soon noticed Night Dyer. The parts look wrong. This style of painting is really too sci-fi. Night Dyer, Cybertron mode. Yes, my respected master. Kakaka. The next moment, every part on the motorcycle rotated, jumped, and reorganized. Under the clicking sound effect, a pitch-black motorcycle slowly stood up and turned into a pitch-black mecha that was more than 2 meters tall. On the head of the mecha, 2 scarlet lights suddenly lit up, flashing and flashing very smartly. Molly, stunned. What the hell is this? Transformers. Is this kind of finished product already available in China? Isn't that outrageous? I am at the forefront of technology every day, how come I don't know? Night Dyer made a very coquettish pose, and then bowed with standard gentleman etiquette. This beautiful lady, I am a nightmare, nice to meet you. Oh, and by the way, I am an elegant and aloof gentleman. Molly. Do you have any wine? Molly looked blank and shook her head. Oh, that's such a pity. This car has many stories. Yulin did not explain the origin of the night dyer to Molly. After all, I can't say. The slightest thought of revealing secrets occurs in his mind, and he will be tortured to death by the mark of death. Each apostle has different feelings based on the location of each person's death mark. But it's still okay to put the night dyer here. Yulin used a unique way to explain to Molly the reason for leaving this transforming motorcycle here temporarily. Molly understood. It turned out that I was helping her with research. Molly circled around Dyer a few times, took out a wrench and knocked on Dyer's armor a few times. Boom boom boom. Night Dyer. Can it be dismantled? This is not possible, is it? Yulin hesitated for a while, he was not sure. Night Dyer. How can we study it without dismantling it? By the way, what is the power source of this thing? The structure of this mecha is completely different from the current technological level. This is your professional scope. Yulin shrugged and said he was helpless. Night Dyer. In fact, he was also very puzzled by the inexplicable Cybertron mode that appeared after Night Dyer inserted the fire source fragment. Fine. Molly's eyes flashed and she laughed. This smile made my heart tremble when I stared at Night Dyer, even though it had no hair. But at this moment, based on the memory in his mind, he did have this chilly feeling. You have about half a month. After half a month, this guy will most likely disappear from your eyes suddenly. But it doesn't matter. I'll bring it back for you to dismantle when I have time. Ah no, I'll give it to you to study. Remember, it must be kept secret. Yulin warned seriously. Half a month later, when he enters the other world again, there is a high possibility that the night dyer will disappear from the real world with a hiss. Yulin reminded Molly in advance that he believed Molly would also make relevant preparations in advance. Although Molly is always startled when something happens, and has a carefree personality, when it comes to getting serious, Yulin has never seen anyone more focused and thoughtful than Molly. He knew that the progress he had left for Molly was very slow. Yulin could not predict what the final result would be if she left the night dyer to Molly for study. But no one knows what the future will be like without trying hard. Maybe we can create a mecha army. A little bit of meager effort may be able to change that miserable future. No need for Yulin to say more, Molly also knew the seriousness of this matter. She quickly made arrangements. Even once again, borrowing Ammo Rendi's energy, he prepared to conduct a thorough investigation of the entire laboratory staff. After arranging most of the preliminary preparations for the night dyer disassembly research plan, Molly spent a full hour. At this time, Yulin also packed her simple luggage, put as much as she could into the storage space, and prepared to leave. One person and one dog embark on an unknown journey. There was no grand farewell ceremony. Yulin wore a simple autumn dress and carried a small backpack and left Molly's laboratory. Before leaving, Ling Yi was undergoing treatment and did not come to see her off. On the contrary, Molly curled her lips, watched Yulin's leaving figure at the door, raised her hand, and said, "Bye." Molly seemed to notice something. She hesitated for a moment and couldn't help but said, "Don't die." Yulin was speechless. "Don't just set up these unlucky flags for me." After saying that, Yulin left Molly with a handsome figure like a scumbag and turned to leave. Dead soul Dan. Molly gritted her teeth and said this as her farewell. In the autumn wind, Emperor Wang Tian's snow-white hair was fluttering in the wind, making him look very graceful. The dog pass that Yulin ordered online recently has already arrived, but because she was busy rushing to Huading City to carry out the important side mission of capturing Little Fatty, she never had time to test the quality of this high-tech product. But Yulin stuffed it into her luggage, so she could take it out to play when she was bored. The real appearance of the dog is much higher than that of the pug in the Caribbean. Wang Tiandi followed Yulin in a poopy manner, attracting the envious eyes of many people. and when Yilin went to the entrance of the underground network, she unexpectedly received a contact from Zhao Yulong. "Are you ready to travel?" I heard from Mayor Li that you seem to have done him a big favor." Yilin was slightly stunned. How could such a secret matter reach Zhao Yulong's ears? But Yilin didn't pay attention, nor did he explain too much, he just responded casually. "However, he asked me to help tell you something." Zhao Yulong suddenly laughed. "I will trouble you to take care of his precious son and daughter-in-law for a while. They will be paid heavily in the future." That's what Mayor Li said. What the hell? Yilin suddenly had a bad feeling. After Zhao Yulong finished speaking, he hung up the communication with a sinister smile, regardless of Yilin's reaction. Half an hour later, when Yilin arrived at the entrance of the underground network with a painful feeling, the place was very lively. There were quite a few people whispering towards the entrance. A burly figure stands out like a flock of chickens, very conspicuous. Yilin took a closer look. Sure enough, it was Suzayasu. Suzayasu was carrying a huge luggage behind her. Li Erpang was crouching at Suzayasu's feet, chewing on fried chicken legs. Because not long ago, when the little fat man and Suzayasu were fighting in the basement of Li Changa's villa, Li Erpang brazenly launched his special move Burn, in order to fight against Suzayasu. Fat, resulting in the little fat man's fat completely disappearing. At this moment, Li Erpang still looks like he has a normal body shape. It's just a bit lower. Are you planning to go on a honeymoon? Yilin originally wanted to turn around and run away immediately. But he knew he couldn't avoid it, so he had no choice but to walk up. Li Erpang had already noticed Yilin's approach. While gnawing on the chicken legs, classmate Li Erpang had a sinister and ferocious expression, his face was distorted, his eyes were narrowed and he was laughing. Suzayasu's face turned slightly red. She shook her head first, then looked down at the fat man at her feet who had temporarily lost weight, and couldn't help but nod lightly. "I'll save your sister. It's okay if Yilin doesn't say anything." After saying this, Fatty Li immediately became furious and chewed the chicken bones into pieces with his steel teeth. "Well, if it weren't for you, I would have needed to." Li Erpang hasn't finished speaking yet. Suzayasu slapped Li Erpang on the forehead and moved it gently with a skillful technique. "Second Fatty, Dad said you should be polite when you go out." Suzayasu's palms are huge. Li Erpang's whole head was caught in Suzayasu's hand, like a little rubber ball. "Hey, yes, got it? Cough cough cough." Li Erpang smiled coquettishly, agreed quickly, and forced the second half of his sentence back into his stomach like he was holding back a fart. "Oh my god, this is my dad." Li Erpang's face was filled with internal fluids. Unexpectedly, in just a few days, the little fat man would be submissive to Suzayasu. From an angle that Li Erpang couldn't see, Yilin silently gave Suzayasu a thumbs up and a thumbs up. Suzayasu tacitly nodded her head. The greetings are over. Yilin quickly walked around the two of them and walked away quickly. "Then I won't disturb you and won't be your light bulb. I have something to do and I'm in a hurry. I'll leave first." "Want to leave?" Li Erpang wiped his mouth with his sleeve, rushed after Yilin, and sneered, "Are you pretending to be stupid? Or are you pretending to be stupid? Or are you pretending to be stupid?" Yilin's face was expressionless. "What do you mean? My dad should have said hello to you, right?" Yilin didn't say anything. Li Erpang smiled even more and took out a black-covered certificate from the storage space. "This certificate is clearly proof of being a member of the special group. From now on, Fatty, as the newbie in the group, Brother Zhao promised to let Fatty and I practice with you, solve abnormal events around us, and accumulate experience. Is it necessary to make it like this?" Yilin couldn't laugh or cry about Li Erpang's decision. Once upon a time, Li Erpang, who regarded the special group as a scourge, actually chose to become a member of the special group in order to escape from marriage in a reasonable way. It is really sad. Even if Li Erpang didn't tell him, Yilin could guess the reason why Li Erpang and Suzayasu ran away. Nothing more than, "I'm still a kid, let's wait a few years." A man should have his ambitions in all directions and his career as the top priority. My dream is to become a member of the special group. Work is everything to me. Personal matters such as marriage are not considered for the time being. Such well-used reasons. Take a step to speak. Without saying a word, Li Erpang winked at Yilin. Without waiting for Yilin's consent, he forcibly dragged Yilin to a corner and talked about topics that women should not listen to. "Brother Lin, let's not talk secretly. I have a lot of knowledge about Brother Su, so I won't argue with you." Yilin asked, "What do you have to worry about? Don't you feel comfortable too?" "Ahem, that's not the point. The point is, can you understand how I feel, fatty?" Li Erpang tried his best to open his eyes wide, trying to squeeze out a tear from the tiny gap. It's a pity that Li Erpang failed. But that's okay. Li Erpang failed miserably and quickly reasoned, the partner of my dreams has a gentle voice, a body that can be held, petite and cute, preferably no more than 1.55 meters tall, and has the cute appearance of an angel, the devil's enchanting figure. Yilin waved her hand and interrupted Li Erpang's words. "To put it simply, you want to be a scumbag, right? I'm sorry, I can't help you. If I have nothing to do, I'll leave first and catch the car." "Wait. Don't go. I understand very well." Li Erpang quickly took out a small card and thrust it into Yilin's hand. "See if you can help me now." "Cannot." Yilin shook his head. Li Erpang gritted his teeth and stuffed another one. "What now?" "Cannot." Li Erpang was about to cry, but he still took out another one and whispered, "You are going too far. This is my treasure at the bottom of the box." "That's outrageous. So greedy." Li Erpang was very helpless. But he didn't expect that Yilin secretly stuffed the 3 cards back without changing her expression. Li Erpang was stunned. Yilin patted the little fat man on the shoulder and shook his head. "With your courage, no wonder Sister Su can take you down easily." Li Erpang. "What the hell? 3 rare level prop cards." This kid was completely unmoved and even gave me a look of contempt. When Li Erpang looked confused, Yilin returned the 3 rare prop cards and then mysteriously handed a card to Li Erpang. "Congratulations on being single. I'll take off your sister." Li Erpang was furious, but he still skillfully took the card from Yilin's hand. Indian sacred oil. When he saw the attributes, Li Erpang was stunned for a moment. "I go. Is this stuff still abundant in trials?" But after seeing the attributes clearly, Li Erpang couldn't help but cursed loudly. "I'm tall and powerful. I can easily fight 10 or 8 people. Do you need this piece of shit?" "Suzayasu." Yilin looked at Suzayasu, who was not far away, her expression unchanged, and kindly reminded, "But Sister Su has more than 10 or 8 servings." Li Er was fat and speechless. Yilin reminded again, "Be prepared." Li Erpang felt that Yilin's words made sense. So he silently put away the Indian sacred oil. Why is the sky still so dazzling even though I'm squinting?" "That is because my tears were buried too deep and stung my eyes." With tears in his eyes, Li Erpang became very interested in poetry and composed a poem silently to express his sorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 287. November 15th. Shuhan Province, Litai City, Liangcheng County. This is a small city out of touch with the times. Newly built high-rise buildings and old brick houses are intertwined. Walking on the road, it seems that you have traveled back and forth between 2 centuries, giving people a sense of time and space. Yilin, Li Erpang, Suzayasu, and Wang Tiandi were walking on the road. Attracted a lot of attention. After all, this combination has a very high return rate. Not to mention a dog with snow-white hair and a coquettish expression from time to time. Li Erpang and Suzayasu, a couple with sharply contrasting body shapes, are enough to attract attention. Yilin buried her head in depression and hurried on her way. Unexpectedly, he still failed to get rid of this troublesome guy in the end, and let the little fat man stick to him. Li Erpang curiously looked at the scene in the small city. As he walked, he finally couldn't help but ask, "By the way, what are you doing here in a small nook like this?" "Travel," Yilin said. "Travel?" Li Erpang tried his best to keep his eyes wide open. "Unfortunately it didn't work out." "If not, I really don't believe you." "Believe it or not." Yilin quarreled lazily with the little fat man. Suzayasu carried a heavy luggage and silently followed Yilin and Li Erpang. Yilin also asked casually on the way why Suzayasu carried her luggage behind her. Suzayasu's reason is simple. Some luggage that exceeds the threshold cannot be stuffed into the storage space. Besides, this little weight is nothing compared to the weight she carries during daily exercise, so it doesn't matter. Actually, Yilin suddenly squinted his eyes, smiled slightly, and said to the couple, "A small city has its advantages. It has beautiful scenery, fresh air, simple folk customs, and a suitable pace of life. This is a good place for a tourist vacation and honeymoon." When Suzayasu heard this, her eyes lit up and she nodded. It sounds reasonable. After all, they grew up in a big city, and the scenery of a small city was a novel experience for both little Fatty and Suzayasu. Humans have to find ways to find something new. Otherwise, what is the difference between it and salted fish? Li Erpang curled his lips and did not comment on this. He didn't care where Yilin went. As long as he can escape from Huading City and postpone the wedding as far as possible, the little fat man has achieved his goal. Hum hum. For the sake of his dream, Fatty will do whatever it takes to endure your heavy burden. One word, endure. Dad, you underestimate your son's determination. So seeing that the two of them had no objections, Yilin continued, "In the next period of time, we will act separately." Li Erpang heard this. Something is wrong. Are you obviously trying to find a reason to get rid of them? Innocent. No way. The little fat man smiled coldly. How about life? What kind of work? It's the work of the special team. Lao Zhao said that I came out with you to do something. Yilin was speechless. What on earth did that person named Zhao tell you? Ahem, if you want to experience it, it's right to follow that boy Yilin. Anyway, he is unlucky and can run into trouble wherever he goes. That's what he said exactly. Yilin, get out. Li Erpang. I don't know if the little fat man really wants to make a living, or if he simply wants to escape from the marriage. He seems determined to follow him. No matter what reason Yilin used, Li Erpang would not leave even if Li Erpang beat him to death. Yilin had no choice. He could only send Suzayasu a private message quietly. Suzayasu understood instantly. Without saying a word, she picked up the little fat man by his collar and dragged him away. Shit. Young man, you are unreasonable. We agreed to advance and retreat together. Can we still be good friends? Yilin suddenly remembered what was going on in Li Changa's villa. After hesitating for a moment, he decided to give a kind reminder, please take it easy. Suzayasu. Li Erpang. Yilin, ordinary places can't stand your troubles. Li Erpang was stunned when he heard this, and immediately became angry, I'm torturing your sister. Suzayasu blushed and said in a sweet voice, okay. Ah this? etc. I, fatty, I haven't agreed yet. No. Li Erpang was dragged away by Suzayasu, and Li Erpang's wails could be heard in the distance. For some reason, Li Erpang's last sad voice always made a weird BGM echo in Yilin's mind. The snow and flowers are floating. After shaking her head and throwing the happy little fat man away, Yilin was finally free and could start doing her own things. He recalled the list Molly had compiled for him. Yilin left the capital this time for two purposes. Confirm with your own eyes the past of these characters listed on the list and witness their past with your own eyes. There are even future 8 shadows among them. Of course, 2 of the future 8 shadows have gone, leaving 6 people. He wanted to use his own eyes to confirm whether something was wrong with the world. As for the second purpose, it is more clear. Yilin can now distinguish the mysterious grievance with the naked eye. No matter the size, thickness, or quality, it can become the ration for the grudge upgrade, whether it is raw or cold. At the very least, fill up the current progress bar to see if there are any new changes. The mystery of resentment is beyond Yilin's imagination. Maybe there will be surprises. After 1 hour, Yilin came to the center of Liangcheng County. During this period, Li Erpang kept complaining one after another. In order to clear his ears and stop the vibration in his chest, Yilin decisively set it to Do Not Disturb mode so that the little fat man could communicate with Sister Su in peace of mind. Mayor Li also told him to take good care of his son and daughter-in-law. Yilin was very smart, leaving the 2 of them alone and taking good care of them. Some buildings in Liangcheng County are still in a stalemate over whether to demolish them or not. In those buildings, the paint on the walls is peeling off, giving off a faint atmosphere of vicissitudes of life. It is somewhat similar to Yuwo County where Ling Yiyi grew up. There are still 4-wheeled cars jumping around. Choosing to take root in a city like this really suits his style. After the Starfall night, there is no such thing as satellite navigation in the world. But there are electronic maps. Yilin quickly downloaded a copy of the latest map of Liangcheng County, then followed the address and quietly came to a building. There is a row of old shops here. Clothing, street stalls, snack bars, jewelry, everything is available. Occasionally, men and women wearing various autumn clothes wandered on this street with their necks curled up in the rustling autumn wind. After online shopping developed, it was difficult to do business in physical stores. But there is always a small group of people who occasionally come out to enjoy the pleasure of on-site shopping. After all, it feels different. In front of Yilin is a hot pot restaurant with a lukewarm business. The name is Hot Pot Dog Hero. The moment Emperor Wang Tian saw the word dog, he squinted his eyes and exuded a trace of murderous intent. Very unhappy. Dogs are so cute, are they used to make hot pot? It's obviously meant for protection, love, and hugs, okay. Although the dog didn't say anything, it seemed to use such a body expression language to exude silent protest. Yilin expressionlessly kicked Wang Tiandi. Tell it to act more like a dog and don't show its dog legs. One person and one dog took a few steps closer, and a strong smell of chili pepper, mixed with all kinds of messy spices, hit their faces. There were no customers in the shop, not a single customer. Under the dim light, a few flies were flapping their wings from time to time, buzzing and buzzing. Next to the door, there is a recruitment notice posted. Recruiting. Yilin thought for a moment, then tore off the job notice and walked into the store. A greasy, curly-haired man lay dozing on one of the tables. There were a few flies hovering above his head. After Yilin walked into the store, the curly-haired uncle suddenly raised his head and looked at Yilin sleepily, with knife-like crow's feet squeezed out of the corners of his eyes. This. Yilin just had time to say a word. The curly uncle jumped up. He quickly smiled, revealing 2 neat rows of big yellow teeth. He, this little brother, want to eat hot pot. In our store, spicy hot pot is the signature. It is a classic craft passed down for hundreds of years. The secret recipe will never be leaked to anyone. You can't eat this authentic spicy taste outside even if you beat yourself to death. Yes. When Yellow Teeth Curly saw a rare guest coming to his door, he uttered a string of lines that seemed to have been rehearsed thousands of times, speaking very fast. Huanja Curly looked down and saw a dog smiling coldly at Yilin's feet. Although he was a little puzzled as to why the dog's expression was so expressive, with a hint of disdain in the dog's eyes, but he didn't care too much and quickly added, "Don't worry, no pets are allowed in our store. Those who come in break the rules, come and get to the seats." "Oh, there's no one here, just wait a moment." Seeing that Huanja Curly Hair seemed really ready to get into the back room and give Emperor Wang Tian a seat, Yilin quickly said, "I'm here to apply." "Apply for a job?" "Yes, apply." As Yilin spoke, he showed the recruitment notice he had just torn off. Yellow Tooth Curly looked at the torn paper that was crumpled into a ball and then spread out again, and his eyes widened. "What the hell? Why did you tear it off? Aren't you only recruiting one person?" Huanja Curly Hair didn't know whether to laugh or cry, "But I haven't agreed to recruit you yet." "You're not asking too much." "But I look at my face. So I should be able to." Yilin pointed at her face. Huanja Curly was silent for a moment, looked Yilin up and down, a strange color flashed in his eyes, and said slowly, "Your accent doesn't sound like a local." "Boss has good taste." Yilin silently flattered her. "That's necessary. When working in the catering industry, the first thing you learn is to watch your actions." Hey, Huanja Curly paused and said, 6,000 a month, including food and housing, and every month if you do, 1,500 will be deducted, and there will be no overtime pay for overtime work. There will be no 5 insurances and 1 housing fund. Wages will be paid monthly or next month. I have the final say on the working hours every day. When the boss needs you, you will work overtime unconditionally and there will be no complaints." Yilin was stunned. Pointing to the job posting, "But doesn't it say 7,000 a month?" Yellow Teeth Curly smiled coldly, "Lower right corner, look carefully again." Hearing this, Yilin quickly smoothed out the wrinkled recruitment notice. "Really? There is a line of very small words in the lower right corner, so small that it is almost imperceptible. The final right of interpretation belongs to Master Ma." "Understood." "Imho. No wonder your business here seems. This is my business, whether I like it or not." "Who is this Master Ma?" "Far away in the horizon, close in front of you." Huanja Curly took out a cigarette. Seeing Yilin asking this question, his eyes softened a lot, and he puffed away the smoke and pointed at his face. "Master Ma. My surname is Ma, my name is Master. Any questions?" "Hello, Boss Ma." "No, I haven't agreed to recruit you yet." Boss Ma smoked a cheap cigarette, and the hazy smoke buried him. In the smoke, Boss Ma stared at Yilin and laughed, "Tell me why you came to the door first. You don't look so destitute that you would come from a big city to a small place like this and hide in such a shabby place. People who work in hot pot restaurants." Finished saying this, Emperor Wang Tian flicked the dog's tail silently. "It seems that if it doesn't agree with you, it will pounce directly on it and smash the hateful big yellow fangs into pieces with its claws." The atmosphere suddenly solidified. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Xueshi. Chapter 288. Yilin remained silent. Master Ma smoked a cigarette. In a blink of an eye, only the cigarette butt was left. He continued, "Although my hot pot restaurant is prospering, it has not yet reached the point where it has a long-term reputation. We still have this bit of self-knowledge. Business is booming?" Yilin silently looked at the flies hovering near the ceiling and nodded silently in agreement. "Looking at your age, you're only about 20 years old? Have you graduated from college? Are you looking for a job?" Hey, shouldn't you? I approached my shop without saying a word. Faced with the salary and the conditions that were not too harsh, I agreed without any hesitation. Moreover, your facial features are ordinary, but your eyebrows are pointed in front and wide in back, you have a black mole in your life palace, you have red threads in your eyes, and you have 3 lines at the end of your eyes. This kind of face is either vicious or extremely evil. Yilin slowly typed a question mark. Of course, looks are not that important. The point is, if you don't give a real reason for applying, it will make us feel very suspicious, young man. Boss Ma slammed the butt of his cigarette on the ground, stamped it out, and stared at Yilin with an uncertain expression. Yilin heard this. Sighed. To be honest, I'm actually here for a trip. Boss Ma raised his eyebrows. It seems to be saying, are you lying to ghosts? Travel. Okay, I'll be honest. Yilin had no choice but to flash his personal ID account in front of Master Ma and said, actually, my family asked me to come out to practice. If I can't prove that I have the ability to support myself, I won't be able to inherit the old man's property. I have been spending a lot of money recently. We don't have much money left, so we can't shamelessly ask for money from my family. Looking at the string of zeros on Yilin's personal account, Master Ma was slightly startled. Although it doesn't seem like much, if it's pocket money, then this pocket money is a bit excessive. Of course it doesn't matter whether it's money or not, Yilin added, what's important is that I chose a store and thought this store looked the most relaxing. Master Ma. In the end, Master Ma kept Yilin because of her honesty. There is a single room upstairs in the hot pot restaurant, a loft of about 4 square meters, and except for the bed, it is surrounded by walls, which is very frustrating. But to Yilin, this doesn't matter. He didn't originally plan to receive Master Ma's salary for a month, so it was not bad to have a place to stay. The hot pot restaurant is indeed doing a booming business. If even flies can be considered customers. There are only 4 tables in the entire hot pot restaurant. Even during the peak dining period, the 4 tables cannot be filled. Master Ma was also dubious about Yilin's reasons. But on the premise that Yilin did not show any obvious malice, he directly used Yilin as a cheap labor force. Even the kitchen dishwashing work was handed over to Yilin. In his words, dishwashing consumes electricity and cheap labor is wasted. Yilin's working life has stabilized. Master Ma. My surname is Ma, my name is Master. Gender is male, likes women, is addicted to smoking, drinking, gambling, and is afraid of death. In the future, I will call myself King Go and claim to be the man who knows how to survive to the end in trials best in the world. It is said that he became an apostle 3 years ago and is still alive today. But the strange thing is that his level has never been high. Every time he tried, I don't know whether it was intentional control or just luck. He passed the trial with a super low evaluation of D or C, and he learned how to escape. Ability. But some people say that Master Ma is the successor of the ancient martial arts Ma family's boxing technique. His lightning 5 continuous whip move is as fast as lightning and no one can stop it. I don't know whether it is true or not. In the future, he spends more time hiding than bubbling up. Not many people have seen him actually take action. At night, Master Ma's vague information silently flashed through Yilin's mind. However, what he is most famous for in the circle is not his Go or his 5 lightning whips boxing technique, but his ability to collect intelligence. It is precisely because of Master Ma that he passes the level with a super low evaluation every time. He has passed more trials than anyone else at the same level. He has met many people in the trials and has a wide network of contacts. Even if he is a special person, group, and also has certain connections with him. I also heard that because there are too many people in this guy's communication list, in order to avoid unnecessary harassment, even chatting is charged. Replying to a message is 100 DP, and there is never a discount. The remote chat is capped at 10 messages, and face-to-face chats are extra. Master Ma now probably doesn't have any information about Yulin. After all, Yulin's level increased too quickly. After several experiences, he almost jumped level 4 in a row, and in the blink of an eye, he was promoted to level 20, level 3. I have never had any contact with Master Ma. But in another timeline, Yulin also purchased information from Master Ma. Part of the information about the 8 shadows came from this guy's summary. To some extent, this guy is a weirdo. While thinking about it, Yulin got off the musty-smelling bed and remained silent. At present, it seems that this guy's history is no different from what he remembers. Since he has peddled information about Xiao Yang in the future, Master Ma must have had contact with Xiao Yang. But in this timeline, Henry Zhang landed in a box ahead of schedule. Master Ma had no contact with Henry Zhang, and it is unknown whether there were any changes in his growth trajectory. Is there any way to win him over completely? Yulin thought about this possibility. Over the past few days, Master Ma's suspicion of Yulin has gradually diminished. Still getting acquainted. Yulin knows the identity of Master Ma's apostle. But Master Ma only had suspicions about Yulin, but there was no evidence. After all, Yulin didn't show any flaws other than working neatly. And Wang Tiandi also tried his best to act like an ordinary watchdog, squatting at the door of the hot pot restaurant all day long, acting as a mascot-like existence. I don't know if it's because of Guza that the business of the hot pot restaurant has improved a lot. For this reason, Master Ma was happy to let Yulin stay and work. Watching the business that was gradually booming, he was beaming with joy all day long. During this period, Suzayasu sent a message saying that he had discovered something strange. But Yulin was busy working in the store at the time and had no time to pay attention to it. She just let them figure it out. After all, Li Erpang is also an official member of the special group. The couple join forces and are very powerful. They can overwhelm all enemies, so nothing big will happen. Even if something goes wrong, Zhao Yulong should be the one to deal with the headache. What does it have to do with Yulin? He. You, Zhao Yulong, are the only ones allowed to cheat me? Don't you let me go back. Thinking of this, Yulin felt more at ease and allowed Fatty to express himself freely so that he could use up his excess energy. As the weather gets cooler, more and more people like to eat hot pot. Especially the spicy hot pot. Perhaps this is another reason why business is gradually improving. During this period of observation, Yulin discovered that Master Ma would leave the hot pot restaurant every few days. Every time I go out, I am high-spirited, but when I come back, I am downcast and depressed, and I don't know what I am busy with. Although she was curious, in order to avoid being caught by Lao Ma, Yulin suppressed the urge to follow Lao Ma to find out what was going on, and guarded the store with peace of mind. It's December in the blink of an eye. Early. Pedestrians all wore long sleeves, and some even wore light scarves. In the hot pot restaurant, there was a burst of excitement. Warm. The spicy smell spread out, attracting many customers. While carrying the plates to the guests, Yulin suddenly felt a sharp pain coming from the mark of death on her chest. But Yulin's expression remained normal, her movements only paused for a moment, and then she endured the severe pain and put the dishes on the guest's table steadily, without twitching her face or shaking her hands. The pain comes and goes away just as quickly. Boss, I'm asking for leave. Oh? Asking for leave? Lao Ma was smoking a cigarette and looking at the rising numbers on his books. Hearing this, he raised his oily face and asked casually, "Didn't we agree that we would work hard and never give up until we die? Who gave you the right to take leave? What's wrong? You don't want to do it anymore? Do you still want to go home and inherit your old man's inheritance?" Yulin wiped the sweat from his forehead and said helplessly, "No, the weather is cold. I ran out of the house in a hurry this time. Didn't I bring any clothes? I plan to go out for a walk while there are not too many guests. Get some winter clothes. If I get sick, you will have one person to work with, right? You think too much. You have to do it even if you are sick. Yilin was speechless. Be careful, I'll report you. Lao Ma thought for a moment, put out the cigarette butt, and waved his hand impatiently. Okay, Gun, I'll deduct 1 day's salary from you. You're not short of money anyway. Yilin smiled and didn't care. He took off his work clothes with the word Goseong printed on them and left the hot pot restaurant. He just walked off with his front foot. Master Ma's expression suddenly condensed, and he stared at the direction Yilin left, silently. Yilin walked slowly to the city center, the most prosperous area. Although this area is considered the most prosperous area in Liangcheng County, with many high-rise buildings, it is still far behind the scale of construction in Huading City. At the very least, not even a skitran has been set up. Yilin didn't delay and walked directly into the mall. Bring this, and this to me to try. Although it is difficult for physical stores to make a living, high-end clothing stores still have customers who like to shop. If they don't open in March, they will only open in March. As soon as Yilin, a fair-looking young man, came to try on clothes, the waiter immediately greeted her enthusiastically and kept promoting the benefits of Yilin's chosen style. It's just that the style is very suitable for your temperament, this is the latest winter clothing. He even lied and said, brother, you are so handsome. If you can't find a girlfriend, it must be because you lack a piece of clothing that shows off your temperament. Yiren tried on one piece after another. From the beginning of 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, until 1 minute. From one store to the second to the third. After shopping for a full 2 hours, Yilin was trying on clothes but didn't buy anything. In the distance, a figure murmured in a low voice, why did Lao Ma ask me to follow this kid? He's weird and can't tell, but he's quite capable of tossing him. He's quite discerning. At this time, Yilin took another expensive-looking piece of clothing and got into the fitting room. He checked specifically and found that there was no secret surveillance or anything like that. Safety. Enter the other world. Yilin smiled softly. In an instant, Yilin disappeared from the fitting room. Not so long ago. Capital. Mali Labs. A man with long black hair walked into the laboratory unhurriedly. The strange thing is that wherever the long-haired man passed, no one noticed. The professional security guard at the door didn't even raise his eyelids, as if he didn't see the long-haired man walking by. All the monitors were buzzing for a moment, but soon returned to normal. Molly was squatting in the secret laboratory, holding a smart wrench and banging on the dyer's armor plate. Oh, damn, no, there, yo not here either, it's itchy, it hurts, oh, beautiful lady, please be gentle. I hope your mind can be as calm as water, as spacious as the sea, and endless as far as the eye can see. Bang 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 bang. Molly's face darkened, and she knocked harder, until she was dead. The dyer howled. Very tragic. Even the wheels were removed. Right now. Molly heard footsteps behind her. She didn't look back and said subconsciously, why are you back? Hey, long time no see. Molly's expression was startled. Then turned around. The expression was first surprised, then shocked, and finally solemn. The wrench in his hand also made a clang and fell involuntarily to his feet. Who are you? I don't know if it's a coincidence. The night dyer, who was banging and howling just now, turned into little streams of light behind Molly and disappeared from the world. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 289. Familiar scene, familiar taste. Yilin's whole body was wrapped in a dazzling white light. Feet in the void. Loading. No matter how many times we encounter this familiar scene, we are always struck by the mystery contained in this scene. Yulin waited silently. He had already discovered that someone was following him. If the guess is correct, Boss Ma could finally hold it in no longer. Seeing that he was making excuses to leave, he found someone to follow him secretly. But Yulin chuckled. When it comes to stealth, he is the master. No one knows stealth better than him. In my own eyes, the other party's tracking technology seems a bit like trying to do what they want. When the other party became impatient, Yulin hid in the fitting room and entered the other world directly. After leaving, only a short minute passed in the real world. It didn't take long. The light in Yulin's eyes gradually dissipated. When Yulin felt gravity acting on her body again, a strange scene finally appeared in front of her eyes. Well, you haven't gone on a mission yet. Yulin thought to himself, squinted his eyes, increased his vigilance, and began to look at his surroundings. This is a car. Rows of blue plastic seats are arranged neatly. Yulin was alone, sitting in the last row, up and down with the bumpy road. He is in a bus. Very old bus. The form of the armrests above the head is still in the style of the beginning of the last century. Yulin raised her head and looked forward. In the bus, besides Yulin, there were 4 other people. 3 boys and 1 girl. Among the remaining 4 people, there was another elegant young man wearing sportswear and glasses, estimated to be only in his 20s. He suddenly stood up from his seat, looked around for a moment, his expression changed slightly, and sat back down. The other 3 are somewhat interesting. 2 men and 1 woman, both wearing crisp black vests, camouflage pants, and stiff leather boots. This outfit is very suitable for outdoor activities. Yulin narrowed her eyes and felt something in her heart, but she didn't say anything more. The 5 people in the bus looked at each other. No one spoke. A solemn atmosphere spread silently in the narrow carriage. Bang bang bang. The road was very bumpy. Like a gravel road. As the bus jolted, many screws on the seats inside came loose, making strange noises. Some of the sounds even came from under the buttocks of the 5 people, as if the bus would fall apart at any time due to vibrations. The car shook very strongly. 4 glances with different meanings swept over Yulin's face. Yulin looked calm, looking away from the others and looking out the window. Outside the window, there was a thick fog. In the fog, the distant scenery cannot be seen clearly, it is hazy and unreal. This is a pretty good start. Yulin casually picked at the dead skin on his forehead. Well, I can't pick it out. Of course, that's not the point. In the reflection of the glass window, Yulin could faintly distinguish her own outline. He quickly confirmed through various methods that he came in his true form during this trial. There aren't too many bells and whistles in this opening. In other words, is the difficulty in the mission. Just as Yulin was silently thinking about her conjectures about the trial in advance. The bespectacled man gritted his teeth and stood up from his seat, trying to maintain his balance while shaking. He walked to the end of the carriage and sat down 1 seat away from Yulin. This obvious action naturally attracted everyone's attention. The 3 men and women in vests glanced at the man with glasses at the same time, but after a few seconds, they invariably looked away. The bespectacled man pushed up the black-rimmed glasses on the bridge of his nose. He looked a little nervous and whispered in a voice that only 2 people could hear, "I think you should have noticed, right?" "Oh," Yulin smiled, "what do you see?" "The 3 of them are in a group." "Then what?" The man with glasses didn't seem to expect Yulin's expression to be so calm, and he didn't know how to say the words he had planned. Yulin smiled and said, "The main mission hasn't been released yet, so there's no need to be so anxious. Maybe it's a cooperative mission." The bespectacled man heard this and shook his head. "I heard that there is a rare prop that allows a fixed number of people to temporarily form a team to participate in the same trial together." Judging from their attire, they obviously use this type of equipment. Props, if they knew each other in reality, this trial will be unfavorable for the two of us. Indeed, Yulin nodded without denying it. My name is Xingfei. The man with glasses hesitated for a moment, and then said, the mental side. Yulin, agility side. After the two briefly introduced themselves, they added each other as friends. Although joining the address book does not necessarily mean that the two have become good friends. But judging from the current situation, Xingfei was obviously relieved after adding Yulin as a friend. Temporary team contract? Yulin was already observing when she noticed the similar attire of the three people at the front of the carriage. In other words, the three of them had no intention of hiding the matter. As if saying to the remaining Yulin and Xingfei, we are in the same group, what's wrong? Yulin didn't care much. He now has many trump cards. It's not just bragging. As long as he has enough psychic energy, Yulin can overwhelm all enemies at the same level. In the carriage, silence fell again. The three men and women invests occasionally cast their eyes on Yulin and Xingfei, who were hugging each other for warmth at the end of the carriage, with a hint of unkindness. There was a hint of ferocity between those brows and eyes that ordinary people didn't have. 10 minutes later. Eep. The bus finally stopped. The thick fog outside the window seemed to lighten a bit. Arrive. The driver said coldly. Did he? The door opened. Where have you been? This is a problem. But no one in the car was stupid enough to ask this question. Yulin and Xingfei looked at each other and walked out of the bus from the back door in silence. The thick fog around them lingered. Yulin looked back. It was impossible to see the driver's face clearly through the dirty glass window. The driver seemed to be a man, with the brim of his hat lowered, and he looked nothing special. There is a line of words written on the forehead of the bus. Greentown Tourist Line. Greentown. No need for Yulin to remind you. Everyone who can get to the third level is a human being. Can read the required information and intelligence from the surrounding environment. The main mission has not yet been released, which feels a bit grinding. At the end of the haze. It is a small town that looks quite desolate. Behind the five people is a path covered with sand and gravel. On both sides of the path, there is endless thick fog and desert. There are a few faint tree shadows standing on the desert. Yulin understood that if nothing unexpected happened, the scene of this trial should be in the small town in front of her. At the entrance of the town, there is a rusty plaque. On the plaque, there is a passionate and hot girl wearing a bikini. There are two lines of words printed on the girl's raised chest. Welcome to the vacation paradise, Dream Town, Green. Wish you all a wonderful night. The three men and women invests ignored Yulin and Xingfei, started the task skillfully, and entered the town. These three guys are obviously a gang and are on a mission. Xingfei said helplessly. In the originally random trial, a small group using certain props appeared, which was indeed quite depressing. They're not showing any ill intentions so far, are they? Yulin smiled and stepped into Greentown without paying too much attention. After entering the town, the fog obviously lightened up a lot. In the sky, there is a sun that is not dazzling. The warm sunlight spreads down, making Yulin, who is wearing autumn clothes, look a little out of place. Yulin doesn't suffer from the Krypton gold appearance of warm spring and cool summer, after all, it is too conspicuous. First look around and confirm the layout of the town. As a spiritual side apostle, Xingfei knew that his ability to fight head-on was weak, so he seemed determined to form a small group with Yulin, an agile side apostle, and follow him not far or near. Yulin did not refuse. After all, it's just the beginning. The architectural style of the town is a bit like that of the western desert towns of the Inca Holy Empire in the 19th century. There is an air of desolation everywhere. The ground is covered with yellow sand, and low buildings are scattered, making it look very empty. In the center of Greentown Square, there is a clock. 1325. Yulin specifically confirmed that he was walking around at this time and there was nothing abnormal. Why hasn't the main mission been released yet? Xingfei followed Yulin, acting nervously and looking a little anxious. After all, if you want to leave here, you must complete the main mission. Without a mission, you are like an inexperienced new bird. You can't find the direction to enter, and you will be very confused. Yulin thought for a while. Then he said, "This town doesn't look big. Now that the three of them have taken action, we can't be idle. Let's investigate separately. At the very least, we should go around the town to see if there is anything weird about it." Xingfei pushed up his glasses habitually, hesitated for a moment, and nodded. Since the main mission has not been released yet, searching for information is an impossible solution. After Yulin finished speaking, he moved away from Xingfei and looked in a random direction to see if he could find anything weird. There are many residents in the town. On the surface, there's nothing weird about it. Yulin even struck up conversations with local residents as a tourist. This situation is like chatting with NPCs one by one and triggering tasks in an RPG game. If a golden exclamation point suddenly pops up above their heads, then the image will be there. Unfortunately not. This world is not so evil as to throw exclamation points randomly. The town is not large, but the facilities are very complete. Gas stations, hospitals, schools, hotels, restaurants, cafes, and other facilities are all available. Moreover, Yulin discovered that the size of this town was so small that every household almost knew each other. Yulin found a place to sit down. The residents' chat style is roughly like this. "Oh shit, did Ellie and Tom hook up? How is that possible? Ellie has a husband. Hey, let me tell you quietly, Ellie's husband, I saw him jump out of Susan's house last night. Susan, didn't his husband go on a business trip? Susan's husband is said to have stayed up all night with Albert Wang to watch football." Yulin. Your town is so chaotic. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 290. 1850. Yulin circled Greentown. Back to the original square. The map of the entire town was imprinted in Yulin's mind. He even went to the bookstore for a walk. A little disappointed is that, as a tourist town, there is no map. Fail. There is no travel guide either. A failure within a failure. How can this green town be able to call itself a dream town? Expanded. When he returned to the square, Xingfei was already squatting there waiting. Seeing Yulin walking slowly, Xingfei jumped up from the ground and stepped forward. "Have you noticed anything?" Yulin shook his head. "Except for the gossip of some residents, there is nothing weird." "Where are you?" "Neither do I." Xingfei's expression was very helpless, and it didn't look like he was faking it. The sky became gloomy. The wind blew. Sand is carried in the wind. Yulin smiled, turned, and left. "Hey, wait, where are you going?" When Xingfei saw Yulin's move, he couldn't help but ask. "Stay." Yulin didn't hide anything. "Stay." Xingfei was stunned when he heard this. Yulin said matter-of-factly, "It's getting dark, shouldn't we find a hotel to stay in?" Xingfei. "This makes sense. But brother, we are not here to travel. This is a trial full of dangers. Someone will die in minutes." Xingfei had various thoughts in his mind, but after taking a look at Yulin's calm expression, he still did not express his worries. While exploring Greentown, Yulin also passed by the three men and women in vests who were traveling together. But on the surface, they had no intention of communicating with Yulin. Yilin could only give up. This kind of relationship where the water in the well does not interfere with the water in the river may be the state that the apostles should have in the trial. But what if this is a trial that requires cooperation to pass? It seems that they have strong confidence in their own strength. They believed that a three-person team could survive this trial without the intervention of two strangers, Yilin and Xingfei. Xingfei followed Yilin silently. Yilin had already stepped on it. Judy's in. Xingfei silently recited the word translation on the sign and asked, "Is there anything special here?" "Probably not. If there is, the boss is a woman." "Female? What's so special about this?" Yilin looked at Xingfei strangely. He always felt that Xingfei was a little anxious. "Go into the hotel." A charming blonde beauty with heavy makeup saw Yilin and Xingfei walking in, and she stepped forward with a smile. "Oh, thank you Green, we finally have a business. Do you two want to come and stay at the hotel?" Yilin smiled slightly and slapped a wad of colorful banknotes on the counter. "Come to the two best rooms." 2. Xingfei studied it carefully for a while and felt that something was not right. He quickly stepped forward to block the blonde mature woman who was about to take out the key, and whispered, "Two rooms. It's not good, right?" In Xingfei's view, if the danger is not clear yet, if they are separated rashly, it is easy to encounter an accident. For humans, the unknown is the greatest terror. The main quest has not yet been released. There was no danger at all. The more this happened, the more Xingfei felt that the situation was very strange, making it difficult for him to stay alone in a small room with peace of mind. Yilin asked, "What else?" "I don't have the habit of sharing a room with men, do you?" Xingfei, "Of course I don't either." "But..." "No buts." Yilin decisively put the wad of banknotes into the beauty's hand. "Two rooms." "Okay." The beauty readily took out two sets of keys from under the counter and winked at Yilin. 302 and 301 are next to each other. The sound insulation is very good, so you can rest assured. Judy and I won't go upstairs at night, and I will sleep deeply. I wish you all a wonderful night." After saying that, the hotel owner, who called himself Judy, swept his beautiful eyes over the two of them, with a bit of regret deep in his eyes, and subconsciously licked his lower lip, which was covered with lip gloss. Xingfei's eyes twitched and he was about to explain. Jingle bell. On the counter. The clear ringtone of the landline rang on the old dial. "Acridine. It's you. Hate it? Damn you, why did you think of coming to find me? Huh?" Judy's expression changed. She glanced at Yilin and Xingfei quietly, then turned around, covering the microphone and lowering her voice. "I hate, my wife is not here, ah. But, right, it's inconvenient. He, I'll tell you, the two men, that one, he. Intermittent sentences came into their eyes. A few minutes later, Judy turned back with a normal expression and hung up the phone, her face slightly flushed. Xingfei finally got the chance and was ready to explain. Judy was suddenly stunned and glanced at the two of them. "What are you, still doing here?" "Don't worry, Judy, am in town, but I am known to be the most strict-tongued, so I won't go around talking nonsense." After saying that, he winked at the two of them, showing I understand in his eyes. Xingfei. Xingfei decided not to argue with the character in the plot. Yilin pointed at the wall. "What is that?" Xingfei looked along Yilin's finger. Only then did he realize that there was a pattern on the wall. "It looks like a bat with its wings rolled up. The two eyes of the bat are red and very strange." Judy smiled. "Are you tourists?" "Right. Oh, this is our lucky charm in Greentown, green." "Is it green?" Judy spread her hands. "Who knows? Anyway, everyone has called it green for many years." "Green. Yilin chewed the name carefully. In fact, Yilin saw the pattern on the hotel wall all over the town. As Judy said, everyone calls it grim. Seems like just a sign of a small town. Yilin thought for a while and then asked, I want to know why this green town is called a dream town. Judy smiled mysteriously, you will know soon. After a pause, Judy added, I wish you all a wonderful night. I'm so wonderful, your sister. How wonderful and beautiful. Xingfei suddenly became angry. The two of them went upstairs one after another. Soon after Yilin and Xingfei went upstairs. A little boy with curly brown hair, carrying a small school bag, jumped into the hotel. Alan. When Judy saw the little boy coming in, her expression darkened and turned from sunny to gloomy. Judy. Alan stepped forward timidly, lowering his head, not daring to look into Judy's eyes. What time is it? Huh. Oh, damn, where did you go to play? You smell like sweat and are so dirty. Judy, I just talked to. Forget it, I'm not interested. Go and clean yourself up. Judy waved her hands impatiently. At this time, Alan suddenly remembered something, and quickly took out a crayon drawing from his school bag, carefully spread it out with his little hands, stood on tiptoes, and tried hard to get Judy to look at it more carefully. Judy, Alan drew a picture today, and the teacher said it was very beautiful. Jingle bell. The phone rang again. Judy quickly picked up the phone, and her dark face instantly broke out into a shy and charming smile. 10 minutes later, Judy finally finished the long phone call. Looked down. When he found that Alan was still holding up the messy painting, he said with a stern face, Didn't I ask you to take a shower? Don't you know how stinky you are? Damn it, do you know that being here will hinder my business? Haven't you noticed that no customers have come to your door? But, painting. Go quickly. Take a shower. Draw. Alan still didn't give up. Judy took a look. On the canvas, the background is scrawled in dark blue crayon. In the dark blue, a yellow crayon was used to embellish a little bit, like small stars, filling the entire canvas. Okay. I'm done reading. Go and wash you off, now, right away. Judy originally wanted to push away the drawing paper blocking her eyes. But I accidentally overexerted myself. With a tearing sound, the painting that the young man had carefully drawn was torn in half from the middle. Alan stared blankly at the painting in his hand that had become two pieces. He painted for a long time. Very carefully drawn. When Judy saw it, her tone couldn't help but weaken a little, and said, Okay, isn't it just a painting? Just paint it next time. Okay, Judy. Alan forced an ugly smile, his face was full of freckles and innocent. Alan silently carefully put the two pieces of drawing paper back into his bag and left the counter. Upstairs. Xingfei and Yilin are plotting. By the way, where did you get so much money? Xingfei was very curious. Borrowed. Yilin did not lie. He even wrote an IOU. The kind that will definitely be paid back in the next life. Oh. Xingfei didn't care. He lowered his head and frowned, this trial is a bit weird. Really, Yilin thought for a moment, isn't it always like this? Xingfei was speechless. Indeed. Every trial is weird, and it scares me to death. Only a ghost knows what he went through after becoming an apostle. The main mission hasn't been released yet, and they still don't know what the trial mode will be. No matter how much you speculate, it makes no sense. When Yilin was wandering around the town, she tried various methods but could not trigger the main mission. This illustrates something. It may be that the time has not come yet. If that's the case, what's the rush? Xingfei returned to the next room worriedly. In the room, the facilities are very simple. But at least there is a bathroom. Yilin took a quick shower and turned on the TV. It is worth mentioning that this TV is actually the oldest black and white TV. The moment it is turned on, a rustling, noisy electronic sound fills the entire room. Next door, there was also a strange movement. I don't know what Sci-fi is doing. How good is the sound insulation effect? Yilin's mouth twitched slightly. This landlady is telling lies with her eyes open. While switching channels and watching boring TV programs, Yilin thought about what was happening behind the scenes with the three men and women in vests. Those three guys are not a good person. Could it be that they are from the underground world? Now that Yilin has upgraded resentment, she can inexplicably see the resentment attached to people or objects. And behind those three people, the resentment was so strong that it almost solidified into substance. It can be seen that their hands are stained with a lot of blood. Yilin almost couldn't hold it back, and turned her face into confusion, turning the three delicious-looking resentments into nourishment for the grudge upgrade. But he finally endured it? Even so, a ridiculous idea came to Yilin's mind at that time. Is it possible to put a large bounty on one's head, like Xiao Mo did in the past, and let countless killers, mercenaries, and other ruthless characters come to his door? While eliminating harm for the people and doing justice for heaven, he can also harvest a wave of resentment from the opponent. It feels perfect. Yiren seriously thought about the possibility of this approach. At this time, swish swish. The junk shopping program on TV had just finished broadcasting, and a local program from Greentown began to play on its own. Hey. Good evening. Welcome to the beautiful and welcoming Greentown. This is a dream vacation paradise. Now, it's the annual Green Festival again. I don't know what will happen in this year's Green Festival. What kind of spectacle? Citizens, please wait and see. I wish you all a wonderful night. Jajaja. Yilin looked sharply at the TV. A man with strange facial features, a big mouth, and pale skin gracefully performed a standard aristocratic etiquette to the audience in front of the TV. Suddenly. Right now. Outside the window. Twinkle, twinkle. Shiny. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 291. On the TV, the strange-looking host disappeared in a flash. The black and white image turned into a nostalgic snowflake shape. There was a strange light shining outside. Yilin's heart moved and she quickly opened the window. I saw countless stars in the deep blue night sky, shining like phosphorescence in an ocean. Yilin's pupils shrank slightly. His expression suddenly became serious. If it was an ordinary night scene with ordinary stars, even if the stars spread out a few Milky Ways in the sky and formed 3 circles on the left and 3 circles on the right of the human body structure, Yilin would not show such an expression. That's not the point. Rather. What's this? Yilin slowly stretched out her hand toward the window and grabbed the stars outside the window. The stars in the sky are like fireflies, so close. One of the flickering little stars was held in Yilin's hand. There was obviously no real touch in Yilin's hand, but there was a strange warmth in the tightly held palm, and a shimmer of light shone between the fingers, as if there was a real star, which was touched by Yilin. Hold it in your hand. This is unscientific. Aren't the so-called stars the images formed by other planets in the universe reflecting the light of stars? Yilin let go of her hand. The star floated into the night sky again and soon disappeared. Old stars fade away, and new stars continue to rise. The picture in front of you is as beautiful as a fairy tale. Yilin suddenly had the urge to use Grasp of Annihilation to explode. See if you can make any changes. But after thinking for a moment, Yilin decided to give up the idea. Yilin quickly picked up stars one after another. Obviously. The small town is filled with countless stars, both like an illusion and not an illusion. Bang bang bang. There was a rapid knock on the door. Brother Yilin, open the door, open the door. It's Sci-fi. When Xin Fei rushed in, he was about to say something when he saw the window wide open and countless stars shining outside the window. He swallowed his words and said instead, "I just wanted you to open the window and take a look." Yilin nodded and remained silent. Xin Fei's expression was full of vigilance. After all, no matter how beautiful the scene was, it still made it difficult for him to appreciate the beautiful scenery. "It's really weird." After Yilin opened the door, she ignored the nervous Xin Fei, with a calm expression, admiring the stars in the sky. Outside the window, the town was filled with a festive atmosphere, and many couples went out hand in hand, admiring the starry scenery with joy on their faces, which was very peaceful. "It's rare." Yilin suddenly sighed. Xin Fei was stunned. "What's so rare?" "I mean, you can see this kind of scenery during the trial." Xin Fei couldn't laugh or cry. "Are you still in the mood to admire the stars?" Yilin stretched out her hand again, fished out a handful outside the window, clenched her fists, unclenched them, and clenched them again, having a great time playing. While saying, "What else? Anyway, it won't lose blood, so it's not a bad thing." Xin Fei pushed the frame and was speechless. "It seems to make so much sense." So he also squeezed to the window, imitated Yilin's actions, and fished it out of the window. The stars within reach are a rare experience for everyone. Unfortunately, this beauty did not last long. In the room, the sound of rustling snowflakes still echoed. But outside the window, the stars in the sky suddenly disappeared. Very suddenly. That little bit of starlight suddenly disappeared without a trace. The sky became dark again. In a small town, the residents who were having fun were quite unhappy, but they had no choice but to go back. Those who should climb over the wall, those who should climb through the windows, those who should read the script, and those who should watch the football, everyone went back to their homes. Or someone else's house. Yilin flipped her palm, crushed the blood jasmine card, and used telekinesis to levitate it outside the window. From an angle that Xin Fei could not see, Yilin quickly and secretly summoned Bai Xiaoi. sh. Yilin raised her index finger. Bai Xiaoi understood instantly. At the critical moment, she was still very reliable and flew silently into the night sky. Yilin quickly switched to Bai Xiaoi's field of vision. Bai Xiaoi squinted his eyes and stared at the sky around him. In the distance, there is still a thick fog, making it impossible to see the farthest distance. But in a certain direction, in the dark sky, under the mist, there was a very dark crack. This scene is a bit like the sky being torn open by that crack. If you look at it more carefully, it's not too similar, it seems like it's just a distorted fog. What happened? Xin Fei watched in confusion as the beautiful scenery of stars disappeared before his eyes, and couldn't help but ask. And right now? Yilin and Xin Fei froze slightly in their movements. Not for anything else. Just because the long-awaited plot reminder and the strange changes in the town finally came too late. Welcome to the holiday paradise, Dream Town, Green Town. Legend has it that a green festival occurs here every year. Dream scenes you have never seen before will be staged here. Everything is available here. You can have it all. Everyone takes maternity leave in town if they dare. Yilin. Xin Fei. This year, 5 tourists accidentally broke into this dream town. As tourists, you will discover the most twisted truth hidden in the peaceful town. Wish you all a wonderful night. The main mission is now released, Kill Green mission time limit. Before the end of the Green Festival the mission is completed and you return to the real world reward, unknown. Xin Fei lowered his head, as if he was carefully considering the task prompts. Any apostle who can survive several trials will probably not ignore the message hidden in the initial prompt. Even the most seemingly useless hints may affect a major judgment. But Xin Fei was helpless. This prompt seems to be meaningless, right? While Xing Fei was pondering the task prompts, Yulin had already finished surveying and quickly put away the short-lived Bai Xiaoai. Before Bai Xiaoai disappeared, she pouted unhappily, as if hating her master's ruthlessness. When Xing Fei raised his head, Yulin had already put away the blood jasmine again, as if nothing had happened. This mission is a bit weird, isn't it? Who is green? Xing Fei was silent for a moment and finally said something nonsense. Yulin smiled and did not deny it. Indeed. Green Town, Green Festival, Green Mascot, Kill Green? Who is green? At first glance, it seems to be just a main mission to kill a certain boss. But in fact, is it really that simple? Especially after experiencing the wonder of the sky full of stars not long ago, Yulin would not think so. Have no idea. Yulin said. Xing Fei nodded, no surprise. Because he doesn't know either. If everyone doesn't know about it, it seems like they are on the same starting line, which is very reassuring. There is nothing to discuss next. I don't know why, but I just can't figure it out through discussion. And Xing Fei is still in the men's room. In the middle of the night, the story of a man and a man alone, let alone spreading it out, even if it spread downstairs, would make the two of them unable to argue and never be innocent again. Xing Fei walked out of Yulin's room angrily. Before leaving, I didn't know if it was an exhortation or a request. He just said, if you find any special discoveries, please contact us. Clear? Yuren said with a smile. As for whether you understand clearly or not, only each of you can understand. After Xing Fei left, Yulin closed the door tightly and took out Kangxin's compass from the storage space. Brewing emotions. Think of your heart's desire first. Then think of the main mission. Think of green again. Kill, Grim. Yulin opened her eyes. The pointer on the compass was spinning crazily. The rotation was so large that it seemed as if just opening the glass cover of the compass would make the pointer go to the sky. Yulin. The compass is broken? Impossible. This is an epic prop. But Yulin still knocked the compass on the ground a few times. Useless. The pointer is still pointing blindly. Is it still an old question? I don't know who green is, so I can't find out. Isn't that true? Now that we know it's green, the concept is very clear. Logically speaking, the compass should be able to guide green out. Direction. Unless green is not here. Or maybe green is somewhere where the compass can't point. Yulin quickly speculated on the main mission. Frowning, Yulin reluctantly put away the compass. It would be comfortable if it were really that easy to find the mission target. It seems that the key to this main mission is not only the killing itself, but also how to find the green. Yulin closed her eyes and carefully remembered the task reminder clearly in her mind, word for word, and thought about it 5 more times. Combined with what I saw during the day, a lot of information can indeed be analyzed in the task prompts. But for now, Yulin still can't come to a conclusion. Staring into the night, Yulin was pondering and hesitating. But in the end, he decided not to move for the time being, silently turned on the old black and white TV, and watched late-night programs. Wait. The next day. Daybreak. What was supposed to come, still didn't come. Yulin rubbed his sore eyes, which was both surprising and not surprising. Surprisingly, apart from the strange sight of stars in the sky, there were no other changes last night. What is not surprising is that, as the target of the main mission, Green would be too cheap if he could kill him so easily and take the initiative to be raped. Brush your teeth, wash your face, look in the mirror, and address your physiological needs. Yulin seemed to have almost forgotten how long it had been since she had gotten up so calmly during a trial. Oh, no, when I was playing Elizabeth Lin, I felt quite comfortable for a few days. In the mirror, Yulin, who had stayed up all night, did not leave many traces of haggardness. When walking out of the room, Xin-Fei, who was next door, also happened to be going out. He yawned and looked quite tired. Not sleeping. Xin-Fei curled his lips, I don't dare. The two of them went downstairs one after another. Toot toot. A whistle sounded outside the door. Downstairs, Judy was walking out the door with a little boy with curly brown hair. The child lowered his head and clenched the corners of his clothes with both hands. Judy pulled the child out impatiently, complaining as she walked, damn it, I went to bed too late last night and almost missed the school bus. Alan, you are so old, don't you know how to get up by yourself? What the hell are you doing? You're damn dash. Suddenly, Judy shut her mouth. Alan buried his head deeper. After putting Alan on the school bus, Judy yawned and prepared to go back to the house for a good sleep. Yilin thought for a moment and felt that the timing was good, so she decided to clear her conscience. Hey, Judy, your brother is quite cute. Yilin said with a smile, her expression calm and without any trace of reluctance. Xin-Fei on the side almost choked on his spit when he heard this. Ah, this? Brother Yilin. Were your eyes blinded by the stars in the sky last night? With this age gap, it is obvious that they are a mother and son. Xin-Fei looked carefully. Yilin's eyes opened wide and brightly. It turned out that it was not the eyes that were blind, but the mouth. 10 minutes later. Oh, disgusting. Alan is my son. But I can't blame you. Who makes me look so young? It's so annoying. Some people always misjudge Judy's age. Oh, the troubles of beautiful women are always so simple. This damn youth. Yilin and Zudi had a great time chatting, very happy. Judy took a bath and didn't seem to mind the presence of two strange tourists, Yilin and Xin-Fei. She put on a pair of loose and relatively conservative pajamas, giggling, her flower branches trembling, and her white flesh messy. Shake. Yilin said with a smile, if you don't tell me, you really can't tell at all. Judy smiled even more happily, but she still complained, don't talk nonsense, Judy is not as young as you say. Hey, he is old. The two of them chatted again. Xin-Fei sat aside and drank coffee silently. His expression was indifferent. I feel like I am living like a shining light bulb at this moment, which is very annoying. Judy was in a happy mood. She didn't expect that this tourist looked ordinary and a bit fierce. She didn't expect that he would become so handsome when he was generous and sweet. Thinking of this, Judy crossed her legs. Yilin chatted about daily life. Judy didn't hold anything back and told her story very readily. It turns out that many years ago, Judy was also a young and beautiful girl. But just as most beauties couldn't overcome a hurdle, she met a scumbag that she would never forget. After being scumbag, Judy turned out to be as bloody as every story about a scumbag man complaining about his daughter. She got pregnant. But when she wanted to find an honest person to take over the job, she looked around but couldn't find one she liked. During this delay, her belly grew so big that it was impossible to hide it. After all, you said you were pregnant with the child of love after 4 months of marriage, how stupid would you have to be to not see the flaw? So in the end, as if it were a storyline in a bloody family ethics drama, on a stormy night, the ignorant Judy gave birth to Alan in the town hospital in Greentown with tears and blood. After giving birth to Alan, Judy originally wanted to throw Alan at the door of the orphanage, pretend that nothing had happened, and start a new life again. But for some reason, looking at the baby's face, she finally decided to raise Alan alone. Time, like Judy's youth, passed by for a few years until now. Since Alan was born, Alan's father has never appeared again, and Judy also thinks that his father is dead. Xin-Fei listened to the ethical story, feeling completely calm in his heart. Even if this kind of story is placed in the real world, there is no sense of violation. Unfortunately, Now that contraceptive technology is better, such accidental pregnancies are rare. Yilin added a few words casually. Showing empathy, showing enough sympathy. After spending nearly half an hour and gaining a lot of favorability on Judy, Yilin got to the point. Judy, I was watching the show yesterday and it said there is an event in town these days, called Green, or something. Green Festival. Judy covered her mouth with a smile and cast a small wink at Yilin. Oh, I think you saw it last night, right? It was so beautiful, but it was a pity that it disappeared after a while. What is the Grimm Festival? The Green Festival is the Green Festival. At this time of year, every night, strange things happen in Greentown at night. But over time, people here have become accustomed to it, and it has evolved into a celebration. At this time, everyone celebrates happily. Since when? Yesterday. Judy quietly moved closer to Yilin. Yilin lowered his head and thought for a moment, then asked, how long will the Green Festival last? 7 whole days. 7 days. 7 nights to be precise. Last night was the first night. Yilin and Xingfei looked at each other. I understand in my heart. Key intelligence, get. At the very least, they already clearly understood the time limit of the task. The main mission was clearly marked, and they must complete the main mission before the end of the Green Festival. Yilin noticed the weirdness in Judy's words, struck while the iron was hot, and continued to obtain information. Judy, I'm curious, do you mean the weird things you said last night? In fact, Judy originally wanted to say that besides weird things, maybe something else could happen at night, even during the day. But after thinking about it carefully, Judy still suppressed the idea of something happening. What happened last night is a small matter. Yilin was slightly startled. Xingfei was stunned. Little things. The view of the sky full of stars last night was actually a small thing? Isn't that big strange thing going to heaven? Could it be that this is the real difficulty of this trial? The first night was just a warm experience for the 5 apostles to feel the warmth of the festival and the care from the tower. Next, is it the time to actually die? A series of thoughts came to Xingfei's mind. Before the two of them could ask questions, Judy counted the so-called strange things about the Green Festival on her fingers. Sometimes, some strange creatures will appear, sometimes, it will snow suddenly. Sometimes, the whole town will be filled with strange insects. There are even weirder ones. At this point, Judy said in a tone of voice after a change, it became a bit more spooky, like telling a ghost story. People who were already dead suddenly came to life in the Grimm Festival. Xingfei suddenly shivered, as if the surroundings suddenly became cold. Yilin's expression remained unchanged and she asked again, doesn't anyone take care of this weird thing? Judy chuckled, who cares? The only policeman in the town, Old Brown, is drunk all day long. He only wakes up at noon. Besides, nothing happened. Are you okay? Xingfei pushed his glasses hard to the bridge of his nose and pressed them tightly, as if he was afraid that the glasses would fall off accidentally. Oh. So you're still here? Xingfei, who had been acting as a little light bulb, finally spoke. Judy then turned her attention to Xingfei and said with a smile, whether it's a weird creature, or an insect, or other strange things, even dead people who have come to life, will disappear as soon as dawn comes, without exception. Night. Strange things. Green Festival. Yilin quickly sorted out the clues from Judy. This town gave Yilin an increasingly weird feeling. Of course, this kind of weirdness has become a daily routine in the trials of the other world. It's not surprising that it's not their turn for the apostles to come and conduct cruel trials involving life and death in the scene. The end. Yilin knocked from the side for a while. Judy, as an ordinary citizen, had limited knowledge, and they could not come up with any more information about the Green Festival. At this time, Yilin asked another question, Judy, do you know who is named Green in this small town? When Xin Fei heard this, he quickly sat up straight. This question should have been asked long ago. He couldn't wait to know the answer. But is it really that simple? Yes, I have. To Xin Fei's surprise, Judy thought for a while and nodded decisively. Who? The host of the TV station in town, it seems, his name is Green. Yilin suddenly remembered the program that accidentally flashed on the old TV last night. Is it the host with weird facial features and a big mouth? Yes, that's him. Yilin and Xin Fei looked at each other. Could it be that the host named Green is the mission target? A goal that even an ordinary young housewife knows. Is it so easy? Xin Fei was worthy of being a spiritual apostle, and he immediately noticed something strange. The two communicated secretly and decided not to delay any longer and first go to the town TV station to find out about the host named Green. Regardless of whether it's the goal of the main mission, you can't just let it go. Before leaving, Yilin Genji refused Judy's invitation and asked to sit down for a while and have a good communication. But he thought about it, maybe there would be some use for Judy in the trial, so he threw out another wad of banknotes and said he would stay here for a few days, so don't worry. When Judy saw a wad of banknotes, she immediately beamed and expressed her tolerance. Yilin passed by the inner door of Judy's house and suddenly her eyes froze. There is a waste basket beside the door. In the waste basket, there was a pile of paper that had been crumpled into a ball. Certainly, paper is not the point. The reason why Yilin suddenly stopped was because he saw a faint black air surrounding the paper ball. Resentment. Very light, almost unnoticeable. But because during this period, Yilin had just unlocked a new skill, and was very sensitive to this kind of black energy that represented all kinds of weirdness, so she fell in his eyes at a glance. He picked up the ball of paper from the waste basket, smoothed it carefully, and spread it out. It was a piece of drawing paper torn in half and crumpled into a ball. On the drawing paper, it looks like a child's scribblings, filling the paper randomly. On the dark blue background, countless small dots were pressed hard on the paper with a yellow crayon. Xin Fei also came over. Not sure why. What is this painting about? Abstraction. Stream of consciousness. Fauvism. To be honest, this kind of painting cannot be accomplished without the painting skills of more than 10 years, or the cerebral thrombosis of more than 10 years. Starry sky. Xin Fei was speechless. How did you know that this painting is a starry sky? Hurry and find Green. Don't forget, there are 3 of them. Even if it is not the mission target, this may be an important clue. This town everyone knows the host, so it shouldn't be difficult to find out. If it's too late, the clues might be lost. Yilin looked indifferent, nodded, but quietly put the paper away. He remembered the story told by Judy, and after a brief thought, he guessed who the owner of the painting was. But now there is no time to ask in detail. After all, Xin Fei was right, the host named Green might be a key figure connected to the main mission. By the way, Judy, when will the tourist line that usually comes to town come again? Specialized line. Unexpectedly, Judy looked confused when she heard this. Where can we get a dedicated tourist line in our town? Xin Fei's face changed slightly, and he felt a chill on his back. Walk. Yilin already had a preliminary idea in her mind. Without further delay, he fully demonstrated his speed as an agile side apostle and quickly left the Judy Hotel. Hey! You should take care of the spiritual apostle. After receiving a lot of information from Judy, before he had time to digest and be surprised, Xin Fei followed Yilin closely, fearing that he would be left behind. About 20 minutes later, they came to a TV station with an old architectural style. The author is bald. The recent plots have been very taxing, everyone has recommended monthly tickets and I don't dare to ask for rewards. it would definitely be better if I had. PS, Yelin's character reaches 2 stars and lacks star value. Oh.